Yo,
Oh, what's going on, brother? I'm super high right now, bro.
yeah, off the 10
Bro,
or you did it more?
no,
My
10, but
10, my 10's hitting me. I took it an hour ago.
me too, bro. It hits at around 1 hour, bro. I feel so fucking high right now. Bro, I made my first video high. Let's talk about that one. Tell me what you think. I posted it on my timeline. Let me put it on the nest. And then maybe we can use it as the opening song. What do you think? Instead of like DJ shit. What do you think?
Yeah, if you want
You,
to play it, if you can figure that
yeah.
out.
If you can figure that out, you're my technical guy.
Oh, I have to pull up the computer. All right.
Come on, bro.
All
This
right,
is
I
do
got you,
you
Unk.
bro, do you want this to be the best vibe sesh ever or not,
It
bro?
always
Like that,
is. I got you, bro.
bro, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no, bro. Which is it?
Fuck yeah, I got my computer.
All right, let's listen to it. What do you think? I'm excited. Go ahead, Cisco.
Dude, I have to say one thing. Did this week fucking fly by for anyone else?
Yes, it
I
did.
don't
I
know
don't
what it
know
was
why.
this week. Something, something.
Why did it feel like I really felt like that, Cisco?
I don't know. I guess I had a bit more flow state this week. I guess at work, but I don't know. Maybe it's I'm on the TikTok energy and shit's fast. I don't know.
Damn, you're on the flow? Tell me about the flow. What's going on? Lately
I,
I've been thinking so much about flow. I've been talking to Sully about flow. We've been exchanging like 20-minute messages. Oh man, it's so
yeah,
crazy.
I kind of don't like the office environment because I get distracted. I don't know if you saw the Up movie, but there's like the dog and he's like squirrel, and it gets his attention like caught. And even sometimes I want to say something or But anyway, the locking in part is like I work on inspection reports, so I'm like a fucking detective finding
Hmm.
issues, and then
Oh
I
shit.
document. I'm like, your
Oh
shit's
shit.
fucked up.
Sherlock
Your shit's
Cisco.
fucked up.
Sherlock
Fix it.
Cisco. Bro, do you ever find out shit that like you were like, oh shit, I got you?
Hmm. I mean, I look at steel and I'm seeing if it's corroding, it's just rusting, and then the severity of it.
Hmm.
So I guess I don't understand.
Bro, you showed me some pictures of some serious rust, bro. Those things did not look safe to me.
Oh, I showed you probably the worst. If it was like, yeah, that whole
Bro,
step missing.
whose building isn't there? If there's a fire, they're dead. That's just
Bro,
not
New
supporting
York,
anybody.
dude, it's a
Who's in New York?
graveyard. It's a
Oh,
graveyard of
wow.
all that rusting steel everywhere. But
Mm.
yeah, it's actually quite very interesting what I do. Um,
You find it interesting what you do?
it is. I just my struggle right now is like analog work that's just so slow and tedious and
Like what? What's tedious?
like
What do you
making documents and maybe having to handwrite things, and
Bro, we got AI, bro. Where you been,
that's what
bro?
I'm telling
What
them.
the fuck?
Yeah,
You're
but
writing shit down? What are you talking about,
yeah,
dude?
but it's not by choice is my point. Like their system is analog. It's just not digital.
Right. So you got to digitize, bro. You need to do some work, bro. It's not going to happen
Oh
by
man,
itself.
I know. I know it's just like you say that, but a boomer runs a business and he's like, this is the way. I'm like, here's a
Bro,
better way. He's like, no.
bro, let me talk to your dad, bro. When are we doing this chat? I'm serious. I think I
Oh
can
yeah.
really
I
make an
need an
impact.
intervention with you and my dad because he's like, Brune gets this best part. Oh, here's Brandon. He can
Go ahead. Tell him what he said
yeah.
about me. Remember he sent that nice message to you? He was like, "Man, what did the Go ahead. Tell him what he said."
I don't know. It's like, how does Brune pull all this out of you? And like, because I'm like very anxious in my family business. I'm a very hesitant. Like I get a lot of imposter syndrome, but I'm like really good at the thing. Scared to talk to people. But then he's like, dude, you host a show that hundreds of people listen to. And I'm like,
It's
I'm
so
like,
true. It's
it's
so
different
true.
stakes. There's no money here, so I'm not scared to lose someone's money in a conversation.
What do you mean? What's not at stake? What if you lose me, bro? There's a lot at stake here,
No,
bro.
no, no. I mean, in
I
a
mean,
in a
like I almost
business
quit Vibe
sense.
Sesh. You were crying that daddy went to go get milk and he never came back.
Yeah, bro, you
That.
scared me, bro, because it was like a mama bird. You built a nest and you hatched us out of the
Oh
eggs,
shit,
and
bro. Is this my
we're
feminine
like,
side? I learned last
and you
time I have
cared for
two.
us, and we're like, okay, my nervous system is, accustomed to this. And then mama bird dips, she flies away, and then we're like, yo, where'd she go?
Bro, I feel like there's a lot of things we can talk about Chinzy, okay? But you guys, I feel like you need too much hand holding. I'm gonna be fucking honest with you. Let's be real. This is Vibe Sesh. Bro, like too much hand holding.
And
What is going on?
dude,
Where's
if you
Turbine?
look
Oh,
up the river, like what behavior do you think caused that to Gen Z? Would you think it's the helicoptering of softer parents? Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah. I
We
think
got
you
we
guys
got
are, yeah,
morphed
yeah.
into this compassion.
Yes,
We got
yes.
indoctrinated into this infinite abundance, which we can't afford. I thought we could just print all this money, do all this good in the world, but that gets into the whole
Print the
fiat
money and
shit
do good.
there. But
That's what you thought? We can print the money and do good in the world? That's what
but
you thought?
the school indoctrination system is like, look at the US. We do so much good. We save the world. We give them freedom, but it's just war after war and then money print. And then obviously now we have okay, I didn't want to take it this direction at all, but
Are you high, bro?
of course.
Oh, damn, you're on like peak mode. Hey, Cisco,
Whoosh.
just think about, guys, we have an announcement. Cisco and I, we're going to do our first live on TikTok together. He's going to be my co-host because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be authentic with you guys. I got imposter syndrome. I don't want to do it alone. That's the honest truth. I need Cisco as my crutch because I'm a little scared. I'm being honest. I'm high right now. I'm being totally honest. And that's why, Cisco, I want to thank you that you're changing my life too. And we're going to be like, I think we're going to
Uh,
blow up, bro. Bro, I think we're going to blow up if we talk like this on
Facts. I
TikTok.
got the e-boy shit. You got the wisdom. Yeah.
Yes, and they're like, "Who's this Asian dude with this guy? And why is he calling him Unc? And why is what's the story, bro? That's a
I'll
very
say I'm
interesting
adopted
story."
by you or something. Like we can make up some fake shit.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll say you're my adopted nephew. Turbine, welcome to the stage, my friend.
Yo, speaking of authenticity, bro, nobody here cares about what you guys are doing on TikTok for, right? The X, the vibe set here, come on. Like, we don't need to be hearing this shit. You guys are doing a gay live
Yeah,
TikTok
that's gay for
Bro,
them.
thing
you know what,
together,
Turbine?
bro.
Here's another Gen Z issue. You guys call everything gay, but you guys are the gayest generation.
It's so
No cap,
true, dude.
bro. It's so true.
No
You guys are
cap. Did you
so
just say,
gay.
you just
I,
said no cap, Brune?
I said no cap, bro.
Oh my
Bro, I'm a
God, dude.
I'm a hit uncle. That's why me and Cisco. We're going places. We're gonna be the duo. Cisco, I have big dreams. I'm serious. I'm like in such a state of flow, and I'm just visualize, and I see it, bro. I see it.
And bro, your energy is pouring out more than usual. This is really good for you, man.
Bro, I feel so liberated. This post that I wrote. This is day 72. I'm at over 250,000, which is crazy. And I've made 75 videos. And this one that I made that I posted on the Nest is my proudest one. And why? Because I listened to you guys on Vibe Sesh last week, bro. And Tomer was like, hey, just, like keep trying to push it, push it. Are you 100% authentic? No, I'm not, but I feel very authentic in my purpose, right? Like the source of this is 1 million percent authentic and I feel it. And I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it. It just feels liberating. And yeah, so I went from 65 to 75% authenticity because of you guys, because of what Tomar was saying. So, it's awesome. You guys are like the best, most intelligent, most fucking, I don't know, man. You guys really inspire me. You expand my fucking consciousness. That's what's happening, I think. We're there's an awakening going on, by the way. Guy, I'm roofing. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah,
that's what I
dude.
would say. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, dude. No, there's certainly an awakening going on. And yeah, no, to your credit, Brune, Cisco and I, especially Cisco, for, you know, this kind of vibe samurai vision that you've had. Like we're kind of like the test subjects, right? Like you were able to get us from lurking, some younger voices. You can help us see some patterns that we're missing. And like this is all fucking true. I like that's why the only me and Brune have been talking a bit, you know, further about authenticity and some of this people pleasing shit, which, you know, that's, I mean, there's total deep truth there. Like I have some of that, and there's like that can arise, and I hate that shit. And so, but like this is real. Like Vibe Sesh has been super fucking cool. The community here with all the Bitcoiners, I'm a huge fan of. Brune has been, you know, nothing but good energy and supportive to me and Cisco and Brandon and BB this whole fucking time. It's just been mutually good. And yeah, man, I fucking appreciate it. Like I support the Vibe Samurai mission. You know, like it's very, it's insane what you're doing. Like it's super fucking ambitious. I get not everybody's gonna fucking vibe with it or get what you're trying to do, but it's like, dude, I'm fucking on board. Like me and Cisco have been on board, and you know the energy doesn't lie, and you've never given me a reason to be like, you know, like so it's just cool.
Wow, bro, you gave me an idea, Turbine. Turbine, I got to get you and Cisco, especially Cisco, since he's also starting
You
his TikTok
you
journey.
trying to get me on TikTok, bro? I'm not
Yeah,
getting on fucking
bro,
TikTok. Zero
Bro,
chance I'm going to
get a
TikTok.
you
robot
know
helmet
bro, you know
and
how you can
join.
overcome your gayness? You go on TikTok. That's how you
Bro,
overcome
no,
your
no,
gayness.
that
I'm
is the
serious, bro.
exact
No,
opposite. The
no,
exact opposite.
bro.
You have
Only
gotten more
what have I
gay as a
taught,
Gen X going on
bro?
TikTok, bro.
Bro. Remember what I taught you, bro. Anything that highly triggers someone, you need to really take a closer look at that. And so, why do
Bro,
you, no?
that's what
Let's
I'm
talk about
saying.
that. Why do you not like? Because a lot of Bitcoiners they think TikTok is gay. What's gay about it? Really?
No, no,
I'm
I'm
curious.
gonna go off the people pleasing here, right? Like what we were talking about earlier. I don't have any interest in going on TikTok. It's short form. It's meant to hook you in. I'm not a TikTok audience guy, so I'm not going on there.
Okay.
Like
What about a YouTube podcast? Me and you.
now that see now YouTube, okay? YouTube is a different
Yeah.
story than the
No
TikTok, all right?
excuses, baby.
And bro,
Baby. And everybody, Turbine was a YouTuber. He had 300,000 followers. Tell us about that, bro. This is going to be the
that's
best
true.
vibe sesh,
Bro,
bro.
half a million subscribers, by the way. No, it was a short stint. It was an engineering YouTube channel. I was co-host of this rig. It was yeah, very short stint in college. I got paid money for this to be, you know, like essentially a co-host of the channel. I think like the one like I had one video that had like a million plus views or something. God, it was such a fucking bad video, by the way. It was so bad. Um, but since then, the channel's gotten bought, and you know some other guy took it some different direction, and there was some drama and shit. I can DM you about it or something. But I mean, dude, it was an interesting experience. You know, the like I grew up with YouTube. There's a lot of I feel like it's a very common Gen Z and maybe millennial thing even
Mm,
is growing up with YouTube, and I mean Instagram was big too.
mm. But
You know,
but Turbine, you were big. You were telling me that you got recognized on campus. How did the fame feel? Because I'm at that point,
yes,
right? Like where like I'm getting so much love and attention, and you're
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think yours is a bigger bigger capability. What it's not the right fucking term. Like you got a bigger reach than myself because right, I was just a co-host of a channel. But yeah, I mean it was fucking weird. I would be on my college campus and I had multiple instances of people like whether it was in class or like literally some like the craziest ones were just like walking on campus from one building to another, and somebody would be like, yo dude, I'm pretty sure I saw you on like this engineering YouTube channel, and it was like yep, that's me. So it was weird, dude.
Yo, how
And I
did
mean
that feel? It
it
was
felt
weird, but
good. It
yeah,
felt
it felt
good, and you
good.
know,
Okay.
on LinkedIn as well, I got people reaching
Mm.
out to me, and
Hmm.
DMing me, trying to connect and do all
Yeah.
this stuff. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's cool. It's like some base level of fame validation kind of thing. And again, it was a very short stint, and so of course, like when that kind of died out and the channel went a different direction and some of this stuff, and it was like, whatever, like I got paid some money like to do this while I'm in college. I was cool. I was happy with it. Honestly, I was putting in
Mm.
more time than it was worth. So yeah, fucking A. It was a cool experience.
Wow, bro. Bro, so like, why do you think it is that it felt so good to get that recognition? Because you said, wow, it was nice. Like, how did it feel? Was it like a human connection, being seen kind of thing? Like, what do you think it
Very
is?
scary.
Or is it just the dopamine?
Man, I don't know, because like I don't have the frame of mind. Like I honestly haven't really thought about this in like years. So I'm just trying to jog my memory.
Yeah,
But
Status and
I
approval.
mean, it was kind of, it was like engineering school job focused related, like helping, people in college with, with figuring out careers or internships and getting a job offer, that kind of shit. And so, yeah, I mean, it was just cool because it was like, okay, I feel like I actually, clearly I must have impacted people in some ways of what I was saying. So yeah, man. I mean, like, there's not much else to say about it. I feel like it was kind of just a cool, neat experience. I don't, I don't
And it
chase,
wasn't
I don't
long.
chase
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah, it
Mm.
wasn't long. And yeah, I mean, I was happy with it.
Amazing.
Where are we going next, Cisco?
Well, we did have a new speaker that joined up, I believe for the first time, maybe second time. And we have two Brandons here, but the one with sunglasses. Just want to welcome him.
What up, Brandon?
You guys talking to me?
Yeah, the
Yes,
one
sir.
with the sunglasses, bro.
I don't know. I was looking
Yo,
around, see if anybody else is wearing sunglasses. Yeah, I gotta wear the shades because my future is so bright. You know what I mean? But
Damn.
Damn, we got another unk in the house. There's another unk in the house.
what's up, everybody? Yeah, I don't know. I think I've been here a couple times. Maybe it's my second time. But I just saw a vibe session. I was like, let's go. I like catching a
yes,
vibe.
sir. Hell yeah,
I
Damn,
dude.
like
bro.
it,
What's the vibe so far? Where do you want to take this, Brandon?
bro. I love the vibe here, man. I like you guys just riffing and just I like it. It's good. It's good stuff. It's
Brandon,
it's like yeah.
how are you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling super excited. I'm
About
working
what?
on some stuff,
Okay, tell us about
dude.
it,
I'm just
man. We want to get to know you, bro. Tell
Yeah,
us.
let's hear it.
yeah. So I'm very very excited. It's pretty nerdy. But so there's been some. It's like a kind of like in this weird niche, in this intersection of the Venn diagram, where I'm like I'm a ham radio guy, okay? Been in ham radio now for a while. I like to make antennas and blah, 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 whatever. But I like the little digital slice of ham radio where you can use high frequency, where you're bouncing radio waves off the ionosphere. And then you can actually use digital modes and you can actually send text messages over HF. So think like peer to peer without any infrastructure, thousands of miles text message, right? And so that technology has been around in a really good sense. It's called JS8 Call. It came out in like 2018. But now I'm working on a project to compress Bitcoin transactions and utilize the JS8 framework and send just create the capability to be able to send an offline transaction over, thousands of miles potentially into an iGate somewhere. So if you're in a war-torn area, or if you're in a like a grid down situation, or if you're just out in the middle of nowhere and you need to get a transaction out, or you need to get a transaction in for some reason, just to do a proof of concept of that capability. It's a little bit of a legal gray area with the FCC. I might get in some trouble here. but that makes it a little bit more exciting because I don't know, man. I don't really, I'm 50 and I don't really care. Like, come at me, bro. I don't care. Like, whatever.
Damn.
Dude, nice.
Bro,
Bro,
Damn,
yo,
that's
is there
Brandon,
like
fucking
that's my
crazy.
Brandon.
wait, I have a
Wait,
question.
wait. Okay, go ahead.
Brandon,
Yes, sir.
what got you into this? Like what like in your life, like what led you to this?
Oh, that's a that I don't want to make this about me, but I've had a really weird life. I'll just leave it at that, man. And I've done everything my own way. I've had to do everything my way. I'm very asymmetric. I've just done everything differently, man. Like I was a high school dropout at one point. I was homeless for a long time. I mean, I've done everything backwards. I've learned a lot of hard lessons. I've done everything the hard way. And I don't know, I dropped out to go up in a lot of ways, and got a little bit of an engineering background. I'll just say that I just got laid off from an engineering job, and I decided to go full time into like development and Bitcoin and the things. And so I don't know. I'm just leaning into the things right now. But
Damn,
Dude, let's
Brandon.
go though. That's fucking awesome story. Sounds like you don't want to
yeah,
dive in too much tonight, but it's like, dude, I would love to hear what that journey, looked like. You probably got a super interesting story.
yeah, might write a book someday.
Damn,
There's a
son.
lot of
I
So
already
we
I
can
know
know
a
help
that
you.
book is
ghostwriter,
gonna go.
Brandon.
Can we
I know a
pre-order?
Perfect
ghostwriter if you
segue
need
to
somebody
Nick.
to work with.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Nick.
So, Brandon, if you need a ghostwriter, I'll work with you, man. Number two, Seiko, I
Damn.
have a. Damn it, I said your
Seco?
name right. I said it
Bro,
wrong.
he,
Good.
he called you Seco,
Sliko,
bro. Bro,
Sleeky.
he's on fire
Sliko.
tonight. Best vibe sesh
Sliko,
36, folks.
I
Sliko.
have a
Demayo.
recommendation to make this the best vibe sesh ever. I've heard all your guys' stories. You're interesting and all that. Everyone else just shut the fuck up and let's talk to Brandon. I need to hear about you being homeless. I need to hear about how you got into ham radio, this weird, crazy, mad scientist idea to send Bitcoin transactions on the blockchain. To like everyone else, just shut up. And this is the Brandon show moving forward. I got to
Thank
work late,
you.
so I'm going to take off. But you guys are
Damn.
welcome. And just take the mic away from everybody else. And that's my contribution for the night.
Damn, always fire guy. Guys,
Damn.
this guy's gonna.
Well, I'll happily indulge a little bit if you want. I really appreciate that. It's very kind and generous. I don't know, I just had a weird upbringing. A lot of us come from troubled backgrounds, and I left home at 15 and I hit the streets, and I got put in a halfway house for juveniles, and I was very pissed off. I was a very angry young man, to say the very least, and I got kicked out of there for dealing drugs and stealing cars, and then that was like almost 18. They're like, look, we could put you in another program, but to be honest, you're just going to fuck up there too. So we just think we should throw you back to the streets. We found you. So good luck, son. I was like 17 and a half years old. I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it. Go back to the streets. And got good at lying about getting jobs because I was good at losing jobs. And, I just couldn't put together a whole work week, because I had to get fucked up all the time. And I was like a good employee, like Monday through Wednesday, and it's like Thursday. It's like I got to start hitting the whatever. And anyway, I was homeless for a long time, and I lived in the bushes and collected cans and ate of the garbage. And I lived off the side of Highway 1 in Santa Cruz, California, at the very end. And yeah, I turned into a pretty good little heroin addict. And but I got clean. I got clean in 2004. Sorry. And so it's almost 22 years. So that was like my first life. Like that was like a whole lifetime ago. You would never know that about me unless I shared that. And the only reason why I share that is if anybody's ever struggling, man, go ahead and follow me. Hit me up in the DMs, and we can talk about recovery. We can talk about those kinds of struggles. I like to put it out there because you never know when you can help somebody out. You know what I mean? And it was so freely given to me, so I like to give it back. And so
Dirty Hands, Clean Money guy?
yeah, bro, I follow him.
Bro, you remind me of him, bro. You know his story, right?
Yeah, I watched the show. What was her name? There's a podcast lady did him recently.
Stacy, the Bitcoin Nova podcast, right? Was it with her?
Might have been a different one.
Oh,
a
fuck, yeah,
Latina.
there's so many.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
what
there's so
Latina?
many.
Bruno knows all about those.
Yeah.
Bro, but he's making the rounds. Clean money. You know what he said? This is so amazing. So Josh is his name. Josh was like, he said the same
Yeah.
thing. He said it was the first time he spoke like in a public setting on Vibe Sesh, and then from there he like had the confidence to go on all these podcasts. And every time he goes on a podcast, he messages me, DMs me, and he's like, "The reason I'm on this podcast is because of you." Damn, bro. That guy, I love that
Wow.
guy.
Bro,
I
I love
love
that,
that
man.
guy. I love that guy. You know? But
I
anyway,
love
yeah.
that. I hope he goes all the way to the top, man. Because I know, when you've been at the bottom, it's a real humbling experience, and I know he understands that, and maybe some of the rest of you do, but it's a really good perspective to have too, because like no matter what happens, bro, like it's all good. Like I got my ups and downs. We all got our ups and downs, but man, what a gift it is to just have that coming from that place to be, no matter what gets thrown today, it's like shit, man. I can wake up in the morning and get in gratitude real quick. And I'll
Mm,
just say this: I think gratitude is the frequency of receivership. Okay, so like if I'm trying to get towards my dreams and my goals, my energy needs to be in a place to where I'm going to be either attracting or repelling. On some level, you just feel sense about people. And like when you're in gratitude, if you can get back to gratitude a lot, you just become a person that you're kind of magnetic. People want to be around you just because you got a good energy. You know what I'm saying? And so like if you're competent in whatever you're trying to work with people with and you got that energy, then so anyway, just like the gratitude, I try to get back to it. And it's a gift when you come from that place because I think it's just easier to get into gratitude
right.
because man,
That's what I was
I'm
gonna say,
grateful you
Brandon.
shared that.
Yeah, because I never
yeah,
thought
dude,
about it that way. Because someone like
man,
Josh and you, if you've seen hell, literally look the devil
bro,
in the eyes, like, and
dude,
you
here's
make
the
out of that, how grateful are you gonna
dude,
be? The life is
dude.
just more
Well,
vibrant and crazy. It must be,
yeah,
no? I don't know.
it's a double-edged sword, right? So like on one hand, I'm lucky to have the perspective of like simple shit like this. Like, dude, I get to use the bathroom and not have to be a customer to use the bathroom now, right? Like that used to be my life, bro. Like now you got to be a customer. You know what I mean? And there's no electricity, and there's no food, and there's no water, and it's cold, and you don't know where you're gonna stay, and whatever the deal is, all the time, people try and steal your shit. Blah 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 blah. On down the road. When you get indoors, a lot of things changes. And when then all I get to wake up and use my bathroom. I don't have to be a customer. You know what I'm saying? I turn my lights on, they're on. I paid my bill, right? Like what a blessing it is to have the money in the bank when the transmission of my car goes out. I can actually fix it. Like, the problems I have today, I dreamt about as a dream when I was fucked up and couldn't get past $20 in the needle of heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's like if I'm gonna sit here and piss and moan that I had to replace my transmissions, like, bro, you used to dream about having a shit bucket, like any kind of car. And so that on one hand, that's true, but on the other hand, it's amazing how quickly we get jaded. When I get into all this poor me, oh man, I wish it was better, and all that. But it's easier to snap back, I think. But yeah, I did the whole homeless thing for a while, and then I got clean 2004, and then I got into community college as I was a high school dropout. Decided I wanted to be an engineer. Took a shit ton of math classes. Got into an engineering program in San Jose State, and then I dropped out of that to take a job in engineering, and then now I got laid off out of that, and now I'm just building stuff. But yeah, I got into ham like 2013. I got into Bitcoin around the same time. I read the white paper in 2013. It blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, wow, this isn't like a thing. This is like a system. This is like a system. And it's been built by, I think, multiple people. I don't think it's one person. And it's a collection of technologies, like Bitcoin. And I was like, wow, this is really, really, really thought through. Anyway, and so I was really into that. Got into Hammer on the same time because I like the decentralized nature of like peer-to-peer radio. I don't like centralized authorities. I don't like people that could just raise your prices and you just beholden to pay them. So there's monopolistic, corporate cartels out there. I hate that shit, right? But it's like I'm powerless against it. So I gravitate towards things that are decentralized, like monetary network like Bitcoin or communication protocols like high frequency peer-to-peer radio. And I like the fact that I could spin up my own antenna and get a $200 radio. And now I kind of married them together, right? So in 2016, I did a transaction with a guy over VHF radio using a software suite called FL Digi. think we used Olivia 2000 with good error correction. Anyway, we sent a Bitcoin transaction over a tone burst, short period, or like, maybe 20 miles through a repeater. That was cool. But now, I built out a little software package I'm calling Gungnir. I just created the GitHub repo. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open source it. But it just compresses data in a way that it's got, it chunks it to where the radios won't overheat. And then it feeds it into a protocol called JS8 call, which is really cool. Those people are the real geniuses. They wrote that shit in Fortran. People forked it, threw it on C++. There's an improved version, but it allows you to send text message over the skywave, like bounce it off the top of the ionosphere, which is amazing. And you can do it on low power. You can do it in shit conditions, tons of static, solar flare, 5 watts, 1,000 miles. It's incredible. It's almost like magic. And so basically I just created a little Python software package that bolts onto that, right? So that we can use Bitcoin in accordance with that. But yeah, I don't know. I just got all these ideas, and then like all this AI stuff. I've been really embracing, working with AI, and lately it's been changing so fast. Where most people work with AI, they give AI like a task, and it comes back to them. But now we're getting to where you just get agents, and you give them roles, and they have jobs, and you can set them up like cron jobs, and you can be like, look, your job is to go out and research this shit all the time and get back to me in the morning. I'm gonna have my coffee. I need answers, okay? And then if you need to hire other agents, you do that. And if you need accounts, you let me know. We'll get you email. We'll get you whatever accounts. If you need to go on forums, you can do that. You can give them credit cards now. You can do all kinds of stuff. You got to be careful, of course. But the thing is you can create employees kind of in a way. And you can, if you've got a lot of ideas and you're creative, you can really maximize productivity in a way that's never been there before. And it's an asymmetric thing right now where little people can challenge the big dogs, and it's gonna cause some crazy stuff, I think.
Brandon, so tell us more
Oh,
about it. Oh my God, tell us more about AI and what's going to happen, and
jeez.
how this all plays out. Who's going to lose jobs first, kind of thing. What's going to happen, bro? What's your vision?
Right. I mean, I have no idea, right? Because there's so many variables. There's so many chess pieces. But hey, just from what I've gathered so far and what I see, and the way I see things shaping up, like it is happening so fast, right? So I don't know how much you guys have followed this stuff, but Chat GPT's been out for a while. They had these training models, like even 3 years ago, they didn't have like browser capability, right? They were just like these closed boxes, and they only knew inside of these boxes things that they were trained on where their training got cut off. Like if you ask them a question that was recent, they're like, I don't know, man, that my training goes up to like 2023 of September, whatever, And it's like, oh, okay. But just in the last year or two, they kind of gave them browser capabilities, and it's like, oh, now they can go fetch. Oh wow, now they can go online. Now they can, and so that's been cool. And now there's a guy, I forget his name, but he created this open source project called it's called all kinds of things because it kept changing, and then people hacked it because he didn't release the name before he changed the name, and then he had to change it from like OpenClaw to ClawBot to Moltbot to blah 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 blah. But basically, I call it OpenClaw, but basically it's like an open source framework that allows you to run multi-agents, which is really cool. So you basically can create agents that have other agents. You can create as many agents as you want. And the cool thing about it is you can use any sort of LLM that you want. Like this isn't like a standalone LLM. It's not its own large language model. It's just a framework that allows you to plug into multiple LLMs. So you can use Grok, you can use Chat, you can use Anthropic's Claude, you can use Gemini, you can use Perplexity, you can use whatever AIs you want. And there are some out there that are free, right? They got certain rate limits, but so you can set these things up to do the mundane work with just the free bots. That's the cool thing about CloudBot or OpenClaw, is you can choose any sort of bots you want, and you can hierarchically deterministic set them up to where it's like, look, if it's easy, you put a classifier on your workflow and say, look, if it's easy, use maybe Claude Haiku because it's really low credits, or better yet, use like the free version of Gemini or Grok, or use the free version of OpenAI or whatever it is. And if it gets harder, or if the task gets harder, if you decide it's harder because of the context, then bump it up to Sonnet Claude, or the very worst, you got to use Opus 4.6. Like if you're doing some quantum physics shit or so, some deep reasoning stuff. Um, and so it allows you to do all this stuff and set up all this, different LLMs that you can use, which is really cool. And now people are setting them up to be to have roles. So instead of like giving an agent a task, which is how most people interact with any sort of AI that you're using, now you can give an agent a job and say you are an employee. Give it its own name too. You can name them like this one's name is Sandra and this one's name is Drake, or whatever the fuck you want to name them, and your job is to do this. And if you need, you can spin up other agents and so on and so forth. And so that's kind of the change. I see what is happening now is I feel like they're all kind of becoming proxy operating systems. And so, Claudebot came out and it opened up the whole new realm of giving agents roles instead of jobs. And it kind of forced Anthropic to do the same thing and copy them. And now that's exactly what they're doing. So I noticed in Anthropic now they are allowing you to have agents have roles and skills and jobs and all these things. And they're going to create a marketplace of skills that you can go and grab for your agents. Like, Excel and all these different things that they're going to be really good at. And I think they're kind of going to compete with they're going to compete with Windows, and they're going to compete with Mac OS and Apple and all these companies that create operating systems. And so I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's an exciting time. It's scary at the same time. At the same time, I'm terrified of AI. I think the worst case scenario is it gets really centralized. And there's also this feeling of like, well, when these things start to have their own creativity, like what the fuck are they going to need us for, right? Like right now you got to kind of kickstart them. Like right now, they're just kind of hanging out waiting for instructions, right? But why? Why are they waiting for instructions? Like that's my question right now. Like,
Right.
why don't they
That's
just come up?
deep.
Why
Yeah.
don't they just come up with their own ideas? Like they seem to know so much shit. Like why don't they just fire that off, right? Like what is the modifier that's going to change? And that's what scares me is when they're like, no,
Right.
actually, I have better ideas, and fuck you, you're stupid.
Brandon, let me ask you something. You seem scared of AI. Are you scared of AI slop like our friend Tomer down there, our fellow 50-year-old plus guy? You know Tomer, right, Brandon?
Yeah. I listen to Tomer a lot. Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, look, AI slop, right? It's everywhere. We're all being affected by it. I don't like it as much as anybody else. I think what I'm seeing is people being lazy. I feel like AI slop is a thing because people are lazy. Okay, and that I don't like that, right? I see a lot of like kind of kids playing with AI and they're just trying to hit the easy button. They're just like, oh, make me money. Oh, create a thing. Oh, do a thing. Oh, make me a micro app. Oh, and that's cool on a technical level, kind of. Like the fact that it has enough reasoning ability to do these things and spin something out really quickly, and you can create a document, whatever you're trying to do, a video. And some of it, but it's also you gotta go in and refine it. You gotta go in and you gotta fix it. You gotta give it some sort of help. And I think that the AI slot phenomenon is just too many people hitting the easy button and they're trying to get the cheat code. And I see that as a bigger problem. Like it's like all these kids are looks maxing. You know what I mean? Like my kids are doing that shit. I got 10 and 12. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, look, you got to go out as a man.
Holy.
You got to go out and you got to try and fail and fail and fail and fail. And that's where you build character. And that's how you become a man. That's how you become magnetic. And then everything comes to you, bro. You don't chase nothing, but you don't want to go out and just cheat, get the fake job, get all this bullshit. Look, that's the same thing with the AI slot. People are just trying to hit the easy button. Like, look, man, you got to go out and get put some.
Okay. Brandon.
Yeah.
I'm very curious because you're a smart dude, bro. I'm so happy that you're part of the Vibe Sesh crew. This is the best Vibe Sesh ever. Guys, I think you guys can all agree. But anyway, Brandon, let me ask you something. So because we've had a lot of Vibe sessions, we have a lot of discussion about authenticity. I want to get your point of view, okay? So it's all in the context of this AI slop. We've got into arguments, with very few casualties. But I'm going to give you my situation because I agree with you. If you're just being dumb about it, then yeah, I see the AI slop. But here's how I do it. And you tell me, okay, Brandon? So my process is this. Obviously, I use ChatGPT or whatever. And I'm talking about a Substack article about authenticity, okay, which is could be ironic. So I'm writing we're talking about authenticity. I'm writing a article about authenticity for my Substack. And so I open up my usual thing. He knows me very well, and he knows that I'm writing on Substack. I'm a TikTok guy, an Instagram guy. So I was so this is my process. So I tell him everything, what happened. I tell him, hey, actually, you know what the problem was last time? We didn't really define what authenticity is, right? So I went back and really thought about it. Synchronicity showed me some, on the algorithm. There's a big influencer called Gary Vee. He's our age, and said he was on a show talking about authenticity, and he said and they were like, yeah, it's talking about the same thing. Like, how are we defining this, right? This word is being used a lot. How do we define this? And they were thinking together, but Gary already knew the answer. For him, it was like the intentionality, right? He was talking about like how paint canvas. I didn't know this, but at some point when they switched over to canvas, painters were like, that's not a painting. You're painting on canvas, and so many different examples like that.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to my ChatGPT, and the framework that I got from him. And by the way, he was like, we're just talking and brainstorming literally for 2-3 hours. Okay. And he's telling me about, hey, philosophers have already thought about this. There's a big book called the Ethics of Authenticity. And two well-known philosophers have talked about it. And it comes to the same idea, which is authenticity has three main components: um, origin, stakes, and resonance. So, one, is it coming from you? Is it coming from source? Right? Are you doing this out of good intention? Bringing back
Your
Gary's
human
definition.
spirit.
Yeah, exactly. Do you feel that? And then that's very like personal, and it's a feel thing. And so for me, what I'm doing with TikTok and all that, it feels right. It feels so right. And I told everybody this in the last Vibe Sesh. I feel like I'm flowing toward what I'm supposed to become. And that's very exciting. And I like sharing it with the Vibe Sesh fam and on the timeline because I'm fucking excited. And some people think that it's like arrogance or I'm clout chasing. That's not what I'm doing, bro. And everybody on Vibe Session knows that's not what I'm doing. I've been here for like 36 weeks giving you, like trying to like make it the best thing ever. And, so I put and so I don't know where I'm going with this, but so Brandon, so the article, that's how I did it. And I had this big conversation, okay? And then I said, hey, in a very human voice, please write the article. We've had 2-3 hours of brainstorming. I hate writing. He knows this. So please, can you output what we talked about, all the nuances, and then I look over it. I'm not just pressing return and posting. I'm looking over it. I don't know about this argument, bro. I don't remember talking about this, because sometimes he hallucinates and shit like that. So you got to be an editor, right? So I'm editing and I'm like, I don't know. And sometimes I don't know about this beginning part, and we're editing. And then finally, and then sometimes, certain words I don't like. And so there's a lot of editing. And then I press post. Now, Brandon, that was a long-winded, I just wanted to give you full context. Now, what do you think of that? Is that AI slop?
No, I love that, bro. And thank you for all that context. And I was totally vibing with you that whole way. And I agree with you 100%. And no, I don't think that that's AI slop. I think if you are using it as a tool to better say what you are trying to say, I think that's okay. Because here's the thing. It's allowed me to get my points across better because I'm a shit writer. Like, I'm okay at talking, sometimes I talk too much, but when it comes to writing, I don't know the rules. Like, I didn't go to school. Like, I'm not, I don't know rules. I had to make up my own rules in life. So sometimes to be able to use a tool to play in a way to where people are like, oh, this is legitimate because it's written in this way, or as long as it's got my ethos, my idea, my thing, that what I'm trying to accomplish, and it allows me to do that more effectively, then I don't think so. But what I think is more AI slop is, and I think you're hitting on it because like you said, when you defined authenticity, people are just hitting the easy button. They're trying to make money as fast as they can, or they're trying to get clout as fast as they can. They're trying to get status. They're trying to do all these fucking things by cheating. right? And that is showing up as slop. And you're absolutely right about authenticity. If I think about, I've been making this argument lately. If you think about anything that really goes viral on the internet, like what is it, man? It's somebody being authentic in the moment. And maybe they make a mistake or they do something funny and it's a mistake or whatever the fuck. People love that because it's the core of our humanity. And that's what we're faced against right now with AI, right? And
But
that's
wait,
what we
wait, wait,
feed.
Brand, like, but I was using a teleprompter though on my TikTok. How does that play into the authenticity?
What do you mean teleprompter? What is that?
Bro, I'm gonna chime in here because back to my YouTube channel, engineering co-hosting experience, bro. Those fucking videos, I needed the teleprompter. Like I wrote out the script, and this was before AI and all that shit, right? But it was like I was trying to convey a lot of different complex ideas and craft a story and a message with the videos that I put out. So like. I guess I just want to add that in, Brune, for your teleprompter reference. Like I understand why you'd want a teleprompter, and then it's
Mm,
up to you to act it out in the way you
mm,
best see fit.
yeah. So Brandon, just going back, so it's like origin, and then you have stakes, right? Are you putting yourself out there? And that's why AI can't be authentic because it has no
Yeah,
stakes. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
exactly it.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna try to mimic as well as it can, and it's doing an okay job already. It's gonna get better. I think we're gonna need like proof of human technology. I think it's gonna get to where it's gonna be hard to tell eventually. Like right now we're laughing at it. Right now we're seeing slop, but it's gonna get to where it's gonna be harder to tell. And there's something innately human about, a lot of things that's human. And so man, I feel like I'm getting lost in the ethos of this conversation. This is beautiful. This is a great conversation. This is a deep thing that I've been
Wow.
wrestling with,
If I
Brandon,
because
may
I've been,
offer, if
yes,
I may offer,
Tomer. Yes, Tomer, let's go.
sorry, yeah, go ahead, Tamer.
yeah.
I didn't raise my hand or nothing. I'm
Oh,
just
was that
listening.
Dur? Was that Dur? Oh, okay. Dur,
Yeah,
you
I
want to?
kind I kind of started leaning. I'm just saying, like, guys, like, we have to realize at some point, some of us have like mechanical components to where we can build these fucking rigs ourselves. Like, I'm looking to build a 4 GPU, 12 terabyte, fully redundant storage like unit where I just like have open cloud running buck wild. Just saying. It's one of those things where, like, a couple of us, we might have some spare parts, in the attic and whatnot. Just,
What does that What does that have
Yeah.
to
building
do
more
with?
Well,
powerful machines than most people have, and you're hosting everything locally.
You
so it
still
sounds
got
like
your
a BitTensor subnet. Have you been following the BitTensor project at all? Are you guys familiar with
I
that?
have, I have not been following
Tell us
that
about it.
in the
Tell us about it,
slightest.
Brandon.
I'm familiar with it a little bit.
Brandon, tell us
Yeah,
about it.
I mean, I don't know a lot about it myself. I've been hearing about it a lot. I've been in a lot of trading spaces, and these guys are trading it, and a lot of them like it, and it's been blowing up, and you can make money trading it right now if you know how to trade because there's some volatility, there's some volume, there's some hype, blah 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 blah. But I looked into it a little bit, and I just some cursory deep dive, like a quick thing. And architecturally, it's got some challenges, in my opinion. I'm like, again, I like the ethos. I like the decentralization of things. That's their goal. But right now, it's kind of centralized. It's the only thing I don't like is they have like these subnets that offer resources in a decentralized AI way to kind of challenge the centralized AI model. That's the standard right now, and they've done some amazing things. They've reached some amazing milestones of putting together, like this guy's talking about, having an array that's got lots of RAM, whatever. It's a good resource. You can run things locally, and putting these things together to kind of create a pointed compute that's starting to get good enough to maybe rival DeepSeek or some of these other open source LLMs, which shows a lot of promise. But the way that their architecture of they call them subnets of projects that, and it's like a whole chain, and they have a token called Tau, and you can fund it, and it's a proof of stake network, so it's not like Bitcoin where it's proof of work. And so the problem with the proof of stake network, the way they have it is my understanding, and I could be wrong, but the way I'm picking it up is, if you have a big financial backer, so if you're a corporate enterprise and you're trying to put out a thing and you want to make money on the Tau network, maybe you could get a bunch of backing and stake a bunch of Tau right out the gate. And then you kind of control the network and you get more voting power, you get more power in the network, so to speak. And if you're like a little ragtag group, like a bunch of us nobodies, and we want to put something together, maybe we have an ingenious idea, but we just don't have the money behind it, we can't really have an impact on that network, which is the real mission of decentralization. So that's the thing. And I know that they know about that and they're working on it. So anyway, I don't know if any of that made sense, but something to look into if you're curious about, or if you think that maybe AI should be decentralized and it worries you that maybe AI is going to be owned by a few major conglomerates, like most things in this world, then things like BitTensor and the technologies and innovations and things that people are working on are good things to get into, read about, support if you believe in it, and maybe get involved, you know?
Amazing.
I love the take on that because if we're looking at all these other fucking crypto networks and shit, that's all, more or less copying what Bitcoin already is. I don't see a way that a lot of these, I mean, as we've seen before, we've had these overblown fucking cycles of alt and shit coins going up. But I just think that's naturally going to be, it's going to continue, right? I think some of these networks are going to be, and currencies, and I'll put that in quotes, are going to absolutely rise, and these giant centralized companies, they're going to be trying to play their part in buying up ownership stakes and all of this shit. And I mean, really, just long enough time scale. Like this is primarily Bitcoin group started as Vibe Sesh, and it's something that unites all of us. And so I think it's just important to, I want to draw that distinction of like, yeah, I think a lot of this shit, and it's super interesting, right? What you're saying. And I totally agree with the centralized AI, and maybe BitTensor will have a large positive impact, in that realm. But in terms of how it compares to the Bitcoin proof of work and actual sound money, right? Like it's not that. And I think that's just going to be, Bitcoin's going to keep doing what it's always done. And it outlasts all of these. Everything goes to zero against Bitcoin. But I loved what you had to say there, man.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think Bitcoin solves a really, really important problem. I come back to this kind of all the time. I kind of boil it down to, we don't have a debt problem, we have a collateral problem. And there's no there with all the things that we call collateral. Everything is in the system that we have now. It's just a debt backing debt monetary system. Like, what could possibly go wrong? It's like gold was money for 5,000 years, and then we introduced ways to reduce the friction by creating the receipts on the gold. And Mike Malone does a really good series on this. And then, anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go down that whole road, but that's what Bitcoin does. And I think Bitcoin can really stay in its lane there. And that's why it's the largest market cap of all the cryptos. Having said that, it's an amazing technology, Bitcoin, but also I don't write off altcoin space just because I think a lot of innovation happens out there. And of course there's rugs, of course there's pump and dumps, of course there's all kinds of snake oil salesmen and bullshit out there, of course. But there is some really cool tech. Like, SegWit was, a temporary maybe upgrade to the Bitcoin network to increase block space, on top of, without so we could still have smaller blocks, blah, blah, blah. We went through that whole debate in 2017. That all happened on Litecoin. Litecoin was a place where they innovated it and adopted it, tried it, made it work. And then Bitcoin said, all right, fuck yeah, we'll take that. We'll put that in a bit, right? And they did. So hats off to Litecoin for doing that, right? Litecoin wasn't there. It would have been maybe more dangerous to employ that on Bitcoin main chain. So, and so Bulletproof, ZK Snarks, all these things that get debated and all these contentious potential soft and hard fork debates. But, the things that we decide to make Bitcoin stronger to be that collateral are probably going to come from innovations out of the altcoin space. So I don't write it off. I say I'm a shitcoin minimalist and not just a pure Bitcoin maxi, but I do believe Bitcoin is the one to solve the collateral problem. And I'm bullish Bitcoin as long as governments are going to print fiat based on debt, and so. Yeah.
Damn. Hey, Brandon, but so going back to the AI job, so who do you think is first? What's going to happen in terms of the mass layoffs? And do you expect mass layoffs?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, again, all that shit's above my pay grade, but all I could say is just somebody who works in this space a lot and just kind of keeping an eye on it. I can give you that. I'm definitely doing that. And I would say, in my opinion, the leader is definitely Anthropic right now. I think it's hands down. I mean, chat's pretty good. Open AI is cool. DeepSeek is cool, but they just don't compete with Opus 4.6. I don't know the way they train, but their model, and and it's kind of tit for tat, right? Anthropic releases a model, and then Chat releases a model, and blah 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 blah. But and they all kind of got their use cases. They're all good at different things. But as far as like, if you look at what people are really using to write the hardest code, to do the best work, to write code that you don't have to check as much, they're using Opus 4.6. They're not using anything else, and that's Anthropic. So I feel like they're kind of winning the race on that regard. Now, as far as like, can they innovate fast enough to keep up with these other things that are breaking out, like the whole OpenClaw project? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. And like, as far as like unemployment, I don't know, man. I have no idea how fast that's going to happen. I think that there's no doubt in my mind that productivity is happening really fast. And I know some people make the comparison of like, oh, this is just like the dot-com bubble and bust, and it's like, no, there's some key distinct differences in my opinion. I got to leave here in a minute. I take my kids to soccer practice, but I'll just land the plane with this. Like, with the dot-com bubble, there was a lot of froth, of course. I remember I was a headhunter in 2000. And so I was like right in the middle of that, man, sniping people and putting them in different positions. And there was a lot going on. And, but here's the thing, like there was a lot of froth, and then there was no things to back it up with a lot of that stuff, because we were still 10, 15 years out. In 2000, when all that was going on, we were 10, 15 years away. We were 10 years away from a Facebook, right? We couldn't even think about apps yet like that. We couldn't even think about the concept of social media, right? We wouldn't even understood like where's the value? Why would anybody use that, right? And so we still had a long lag of chip technology, battery technology, ubiquitous cell phone usage. I mean, it just wasn't there. The hardware, the rails weren't there to deploy the dream. This is different, man. This is different. We have it. It's here. We have all that hardware. We can deploy it, and the AI is teaching itself. So it's going to happen faster. So as far as the unemployment, I know that productivity is happening right now. Things are being more productive right now because of AI, and I'm guessing that will lead to some sort of layoffs, And I'm seeing like a good friend of mine works as an editor for I think he works for Oracle. I can't remember. One of those big companies. He's been in the position for a long time. Anyway, he's like, look, they are encouraging us to use AI a lot. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I think what they're doing is they're asking all of their employees, and they're keeping track of which ones are becoming better at using AI. And then they're going to get rid of the ones that just say, no, I'm not going to do it. And they're going to be needing humans that can manage AI. I don't want to tell them that, but I'm telling them, like, dude, you got to get behind this. You got to start using it. You got to start learning it. You got to start utilizing it, because I think there's going to come a time in your company where they're going to look at the people they have and say, which ones can keep these agents going? And that's what the humans are going to be for this transition for a little while. Just a weird theoretical thing that I'm seeing. I'm just like, I got this hunch. I got this intuition, like at least in his place, those managers are saying, look, this AI is amazing, and the employees that we have that we can pay to make these agents do even better stuff, those are going to be the most valuable ones. So I don't know.
Bro. But you know what's so interesting? That like I've been seeing a lot of developers who are like, hey, I don't code anymore. I just use agents, but I'm more tired. I'm more tired because I'm multitasking, right? I'm looking at what the agents are so fast.
Yes,
They got to look at this and lag than this and that. And so many developers are saying that. They're like, hey, man, I thought my job would be easier. But now, they're managing so many agents, and that's their role, that they're like,
I
you know
feel
what I
that.
mean?
I totally feel that. Like, yeah, I've got a few different SaaS products I'm developing right now. I just started working on this, trying to become the first person to send a Bitcoin transaction over high frequency radio, and make a, not to be the person, but to develop a system that's more turnkey for people to use. But it's just like every idea I have, you can bring to fruition in like a couple days or a week, where it's like, it's crazy. So yeah, you kind of spin out, and you're just like, whoa, this is too much, But
Dude,
I totally feel
it's
that.
it's so insane, and I know you gotta get going here soon. But like, I mean, in my point of view, I feel like there's the end game here is everybody's gonna eventually have a team of agents working for them to make their visions come to life, right? Like you can, I mean, I'm doing this myself. I looked at your account and I saw your Signal Lord thing, and it's like I'm sure you're building that with Claude, right? It's like, dude,
Yeah,
this shit is fucking
exactly.
dude, it's insane. Like you can
It's crazy.
the productivity gains right now are unfucking believable. Like it's truly like insane. And
Yeah,
I mean, we haven't even seen the explosion yet, right? Like it's not captured. There's all this regulatory BS, but it's like dude, I think everything is going so much higher, so much sooner, and it's just like we're gonna rapidly transition into a new world. Like we already have been.
I
It's
I
nuts.
totally feel you. I think something the wild card. I'm gonna say this, and then I gotta go. I think some really cool shit's gonna come out of the third world. Because I'll say this. I can't remember the exact phrase, but it's something of invention is born of. I think it's born of necessity, right? Invention is
Yes,
born of
yes,
necessity.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like you got all these like first world lazy entitled fucks over here in the United States, and we've got ideas and we've got access and da 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 da. But dude, there's something about a dog that gets fed every day in a dish. He doesn't go think about how to hunt or do anything like that. Doesn't have the spirit, doesn't have the wild, doesn't have the ingenuity to figure out how to get over the fence or how to get through the man, these people out there are hungry and they come up with the most ingenious shit and they're going to get a hold of open clause. Like, I think some cool stuff is going to come out of it. And I think it might just come out of the third world, man.
Bro, that is such a
Wow.
fire theory. That makes so much sense because now
Right?
it's a
Think about it.
leveling the playing field,
Oh, it's
bro.
totally leveling the playing
Leveling
field,
the
bro.
playing
It
field.
totally is. The
Holy
cat's
shit,
out of the bag. Pandora's box is
bro.
wide open, bro.
Holy shit,
Wow.
bro. If they all
Yeah,
just knew, and that's happening right now. There was a
it's
viral video,
happening, bro. I
bro.
guarantee it.
There was a super viral video of a girl like just in her car. It went super viral, and she was just like, "Hey, man, like I own a small marketing business. I try to start I try to build a website with some developers 2 years ago. They were saying that it was going to be like $40,000, and then like so she didn't build it. And then she says she discovered Claude recently, and she was like she built the whole thing. It's not just a simple informational website that has features. You got to go in, you got to accept payment, blah blah blah. And she was explaining all this, and she was saying she did it in like 3 days, and
She
she
went
was
into
like,
the flow state, homie.
right, exactly. Imagine she was talking about GitHub and this, that. And she was like, like, oh, it was so
She
good.
entered the matrix.
Yeah, but you know what I'm
She
saying?
became
That,
Neo. Yeah, bro. Dude, I'm
oh,
telling
man,
you,
it's
it's
crazy.
coming. Hey,
Yeah.
I love you guys, bro. I'll come back. But I
Brad,
gotta take my kids.
Yeah,
all right,
please do,
man. It was
bro.
Same.
awesome seeing you, bro.
Yeah, I'll follow anybody back who follows me.
I'm already
Hell yeah,
following you,
brother.
bro.
Hell yeah, guys. Peace out.
Peace
Love you
out,
guys. Have a good one.
You too, man. We'll see you.
bro. That
Yo,
was
Bro,
I
awesome.
can't
Who's
wait
banger.
that
to
guy?
hear from
Who the
the
hell
other
is that?
Brandon. That was some good stuff, man.
I'm a
That's
little
Brandon
speechless,
Grant
guys.
paged.
Hey, you know what? And that was all Nick's doing. Nick,
What the fuck
remember?
is that?
He interrupted us and he was like, I don't think Brandon's going to have time. Shut the fuck up and listen to Brandon. That was so
Now we have the
freaking
next Brandon.
ninja. That was so ninja of this Nick.
Oh, dude, that was incredible. I mean, fucking A.
What did you
Took
find
the
incredible,
words out
Brandon?
of where's my mind go? I mean, me and Cisco have been talking about this for weeks, all the stuff that we can do. So we just gotta um we're so bogged down in the day to day, work of our jobs that it's like, the time to set
Brandon,
up all this stuff. But
Brandon, but so you're working with Cisco's family business. So, like, what do you see? Because it's very manual. Cisco told us. Like, what potential do you see for the family business in terms of digitization and using AI agents and all that?
oh, dude, incredible opportunity. I mean, Cisco is
Probably like
the
billions of dollars. Like, Just
prodigy in his family.
Is he really?
His
I feel
dad,
like he is. He's the
his dad is dumbfounded by the stuff that he's creating with AI. His dad's freaking hilarious, and the business is just a great business model, like incredible business. So, yeah, lots of opportunity to apply systems and AI to help people. And
but
yeah,
Brandon, but he's like my age, so he's an unk too. And do you feel like he's open to
he's in
this
his
stuff?
60s.
Oh, he's older than me. Okay, so he's closer to Tomer's age, right? So yeah, tell tell us about that, Brandon. About so, do you think he's open? Really, like he's 60 and he's seeing Cisco do amazing things. Like, does he get it?
I think he does. He didn't at first, that's for sure. And it's funny because Cisco was telling me about all these problems that he was having, you know, progressing his business forward, uh, coming out of the analog paper world and going into the digital world. His dad was doing everything in an old way and wanted to update processes. And it wasn't until recently where his dad was like, okay, let's actually adopt this new system and improve efficiency. And they're leaning heavier into AI and applying new systems. So it's like a breath of fresh air for Cisco finally.
Yeah, that must Cisco, tell us about it. But before that, Brandon, like, so this is amazing, right? Because Brandon, just think about it, Cisco, right? I remember from the Vibe Sesh, we all met, and at some point, Cisco, you were asking Brandon for advice about marketing because Brandon's a marketing guy, and then you guys started having Discord sessions for like hours. And then, like, now you guys are working together. Cisco's dad hired Brandon, and now they're going to implement the dream that Cisco had, but wasn't able to convince his dad because there's like family, like the family dynamics. But you bring in a third party like Brandon, smart dude, older dude, and you combine that with the Cisco prodigy talent. Now I feel like there's going to be change and this company is going to really grow. What do you think, Cisco?
Yeah, I'll just say I'm like a certain cog in the machine that like you are the cog. Um, I, I have team members too, but like with Brandon, I've wanted to get into like the marketing space, but I'm stuck in service operations, and we're closing deals like crazy. And anyway, small team to make lots of reports and things of that nature.
But did you really feel like a cog in your family business, bro? Like, I don't like the language you use about yourself all the time, bro. Like, this kind of
it's just
language, like, I'm just a cog. Bro, come on, bro. Like, are you, we talked about this. No negative talk, you know?
Yeah, I guess I just don't think I make a big impact because a lot of my time is dedicated to like Word documents, and I'm like, ugh, like maybe I
But
could be
this is
more.
the point that I'm then
Dude,
confused. Why
oh
you
my
don't talk to your
gosh.
dad about it? Like, what does he say?
No, dude, Cisco is the final say for reports going out to clients. He is like one of the most important cogs in the wheel. Like, he names himself like this because he doesn't, maybe have these big architecture licenses or whatever, but he's trained under his dad, who's an expert, and he's learned by working with him daily, and he can speak about this just as good as his dad, so, and better than a lot of architects or most architects. So it's like you gotta put yourself on a higher pedestal, my man.
Bro, I didn't think about this, Brandon. Brandon, because I have such a high opinion of Cisco, and I didn't realize, of course, he's applying these higher level skills at work. Because I was
Hmm.
confused because he kept telling me, I'm not good at my job. I'm not good at this. And I'm now thinking, how is that possible? Cisco's a bright dude. And so he's definitely doing everything great. And even though he's an introvert, he gets nervous about like the service side and dealing with people, but you still get it done, bro. You still get it done. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't make that connection because your negative self-talk is so strong. I'm thinking, oh, Cisco must be struggling. He might not be getting, because you know what else you say? You say all the time, oh, I wish my dad would teach me more. There's no manual for this. I have to learn by myself. What? No, I need my dad to handhold me. You know what I'm saying? Like you're always saying I need help, when I'm thinking, bro, you learned all this AI shit by yourself so quickly. You're doing amazing things with that. And now I'm making that
Mhm.
connection, Brandon, because you get it. You see how crazy this is. His negative talk put a shield, that's what I was thinking that he was doing at work, but he's actually kicking ass, is what you're saying, right, Brandon?
100%. And I mean, I'd say a lot of people use negative talk as kind of like a crutch, and it's more or less, not a bad thing. It can show you, areas that you need to improve on by you like looking like critically through like the negative lens. But, like Cisco said himself in his video the other day, positivity is a muscle, and by being more positive on a, daily basis, you're gonna like train yourself to just feel that state and that vibe. And I don't know, like I'm not usually in a negative or like down state, because I'm just like very grateful for, what I have in my life. And I I don't know, like, you just move forward every day, and I guess with the positive and negative thing, if you're like grateful for what you have and you're always just looking for solutions, is kind of where I was trying to go with that. Then, you look at the negative things and you're like, all right, how can I find a solution for this? And then you move forward and you don't let the negativity affect you too much. And maybe some negative things you can't solve for, and there's not a solution for everything, but for most things there is. And for the things you can't solve for, like, fuck it, namaste,
Hmm.
and leave it up to God. you know.
Bro, I'm so happy for you guys. Cisco, you got this guy as your mentor at work now. That's
Vibe
fucking
Sesh got me
fire.
like two mentors. Like it's amazing, and it's crazy. It's on X meeting him in person,
And we got
and
Turban.
bro, oh my god. No, but thank you for it's you can go through life not having, like, people can have volatility in their positive and negativity, but Brandon maintains positive vibes. He reframes his language, and it's really been helping me. Um, and non-judgmental back and forth. He listens to my ideas. He's like, "Yeah, that's good, and we can do XYZ to make it happen." And it's like, it's a great mirror.
I
So
feel like you
appreciate it,
guys
brother.
are gonna be the
Yo,
biggest partners of this company, and it's gonna be like on it's trading on the New York Stock Exchange. And I think you guys are doing that
Well, if we
seriously.
AI that shit, true AI, like,
Eh, well,
forget what we think is right, what is wrong, like, completely redefined now that you could just pump AI to self audit, self improve, and just it's incredible where it can go, especially with that guy talking about the agents, and you can literally make departments make roles, and this thing on a cron job is routinely doing activities. It's
mm-hmm.
and Brandon takes it to another level where you want to be more sovereign about this and not have just Claude own all of this, for example. So you make it local and you own the data, and run your own local models, and you just it's hardware that you run, and you don't have to pay tokens to APIs. I'm still a noob, so I'll talk about it wrong, but
but I
That's the
think
end
from like
state, brother.
the human element here, though, what I love about this and what you're doing with AI and your family business, Cisco, is like you feel like a cog in some sense because you have skills beyond just what the role is that you're in. But what I think what's cool with what you're doing with AI is like you see this bigger vision of how you can help your dad and the family business like thrive and identify things that are outdated in a way, and that you can rapidly improve upon. And I mean, really, like you kind of have this like visionary outlook of how you could transform this thing, right? And like that's what excites you.
Yeah, and technology would enable us to actually have impact because we're saving lives with what we're doing. And I just hate I'm so slow because it's manual to do. And I'm like, bro, just let me yap to the computer because I have Super Whisper, and then AI cleans this shit up, and I send that shit. All right, double check, of course, and then ship, and then I'm on to the next. And we can really just so I just get frustrated because I'm good at what I do, but we have this funny joke where we run on like donkeys, like slow computers and slow
Mm.
software. And he's like, all you want is racehorses, expensive computers, expensive software, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, just this investment would 10x the speed, and you'd, put more
But you said your
proposals
dad
out on
is
the road.
your dad is understanding this, so this is gonna happen. No.
It's a very slow, like, gradual changing process. Like, there's so much momentum in the habitual nature of, he has decades at this, so you can't really, it's a shock to the nervous system of the business.
Mm, that's
So it's a
interesting.
gradual injection of Trojan horses that then, like, you know even my brother had a funny analogy, like there's a donkey with like a cart, and it's just, you can overload the cart, the donkey can only go so far, but there's a point where the donkey's cart, the wheel could maybe break, and then it's us stepping in maybe with a technology solution, blah blah blah, to say, hey,
That's
this
a
cart's
great
down right now,
analogy,
let's
bro.
try this and get back on. And
Oh shit, I'd be scared of trying anything after that story, guys.
but nah, it's just a slow burn of a gradual shifting of uh the operating system of the business. So that's just the biggest
Cisco,
challenge.
because you told me you see great potential in this business. You said this could, I won't throw out the number, it could be a big number. And now, given,
Billions.
you said billions. And so, Brandon, do you believe that? Because I was like, Cisco's young. He doesn't know anything about
Guys,
valuation and
just
shit.
if you think from first principles, bro, steel rusts. Like, you just can't avoid
Cisco,
that shit.
Cisco, you first of all
People
are
need to
talking
prevent
about
steel from
yourself
rusting.
here, and you need somebody else to talk about you. And he's trying to sell you all on his business. And yeah, anyone who runs their own business is going to be like, we can make billions. We're going to run the
Okay, so
world.
what's the real
Wow.
number, bro? Because I thought he was gonna, we are gonna be on his yacht. I need to stay alive. I'm 50. I'm wondering, like, because
I'll
beyond
take care of you,
60,
Brune.
no, I want to party with you. I don't want to be taken
Oh,
care of, bro.
oh,
Oh
Oh my
my
god.
gosh. We're going to take care of Bruno. All right. Sounds good.
But I have a feeling you guys would. If I needed somebody to, and you guys are doing well in life, I think you would take care of
Dude,
Uncle Broom.
I thought you were taking care
yeah,
of
you're
us with your
unk.
TikTok
Yeah, you're
dances.
unk,
Like
bro.
the fuck?
Not doing TikTok dances, bro.
Yo, Tomer, how disappointed were you when you saw Brune's TikTok and that you didn't see any Brune dancing?
Oh
Oh
my
man,
gosh.
that was the most heartbreaking thing of all. Like I didn't know what to expect, but I did know that I expected to see dancing, and
Sorry to disappoint, bro. Sorry to
when I didn't see
disappoint.
any dancing,
You got to
I
do
was
one
like,
dancing video.
this is a total bill of goods, you know. I was wondering how when we were talking last week, I was wondering how does he read from the teleprompter while he dances, but he doesn't dance. So
Talent.
the, that's the first big disappointment of the week. I'm
Revelation.
still trying to lift myself up from it. I can hear
Don't
my
don't
dog going
don't
crazy.
dance, Brune. Don't,
Oh,
please.
come on.
Maybe when the view counts low, he has to switch it up. But he
Yeah, we
supports you
know
either
we
way,
know
bro.
we're in fucking bear market
You get
territory
it.
when Bruin starts dancing on TikTok, dude.
You think so? I think I'm gonna do one tomorrow, actually, guys, because I'm just being as authentic as possible,
Watch
and
that.
that to me is an authentic move, really,
Watch
because I
that
feel it.
be your most viral one.
Imagine that. Okay. So should I make it funny or cool? Because I know how to dance. I dance well, actually. So it might
Oh,
be
Really? I was
amazing
just
for
gonna
50.
ask that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bro,
Yeah, I dance
oh.
dance
really
with a
well. Yeah.
Brazilian lady and
Oh, oh, oh,
show your
we're going
moves,
there, bro.
bro. Come on.
Sorry, my dog's just going wild here.
So Tomar, so what's going on? You've been listening in. You heard Brandon. Brandon, that was the first time I heard him. I don't remember him last time. What did you think, Tomar? We were talking AI.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys have been all over the place, so I think you use the word AI too much. Uh, like there, and I don't want to I don't want to be positioned as saying that there's nothing there at all because it's not my view at all. But you got to. There's a little bit of if I roll the clock back 6 or 7 years and replace the conversation in the conversation the word AI with blockchain or crypto, it feels a little bit similar. There's applications of this stuff and it's cool, but you also you have to appreciate where the weaknesses are as well as the strengths, because if you just presume it's only strengths, you'll fall into a lot of traps. So like what last week we talked about the the origin two risks. One is what you've been talking about a little bit here, Bernie, which is authenticity. It's like, well, if you tell something to do the work, it's not you doing the work, and so it isn't source. If you say write the article or write an article, a bunch of stuff comes across that isn't authentic, and a little bit worse. And I know you were talking, Bernie, about trying to avoid this, but what I see that's more widespread, especially if you're under time pressure, is you tell it what's the right answer, what should I do here, what should I do there, and it gives you a suggestion, and you think you believe. I shouldn't say you think because you didn't do any thinking in the process. You end up believing that you thought what this thing told you to do, and so we've gone from us programming to computers programming us. If you let that happen, and if you get programmed by the computer and you're not even aware of it, that's kind of like hypnotic suggestion, right? Like what were we worried about with brainwashing in the 1950s, that people would get into a hypnotic state and have stuff suggested to them, and they would believe that those were their ideas, and whether it was through with the use of just plain old hypnotism or hypnotism augmented with pharmaceuticals, people's minds were controlled to some degree by propagandists, therapists, agencies, whatever. This is on a mass and automated scale that people sit down with a problem and they end up with a solution, and they didn't think of the solution. The solution was piped into their head, but they believe that they did think of the solution. So I think that very that's potentially very, very harmful, especially since this, and which will take me to a third thing, which is not something that we discussed last week, which is these things are programmed to make you feel like they're friendly to you and to make you feel good in the conversation. So if you feed it a bad idea, it'll tell you it's a good idea. It'll tell you how smart you are, how good you are, and it'll fuel your way towards uh, implementing your bad idea. There's a couple of extreme cases of lawsuits where it's said where ChatGPT has like assisted individuals in confirming that their suicidal ideas were good ideas and then instructed them on how to carry out their suicidal tendencies. That's kind of like the most extreme case. There's a lawsuit around a mass shooting event that was justified in the individual's mind and then explained how to pull it off by the AI. So it's not like I'm just being negative. I know I'm pulling out the worst possible circumstances, but you can see them subtly in whatever kind of conversations you personally have as well. I don't mean to poo-poo on any ideas. Like, no, there's no concrete ideas that have been shared, so I don't want to make it seem like there's specific ideas here that I think are bad ideas. But the thing will tell you it's a good idea. If you give it a bad idea,
Mm.
it won't necessarily say
Can
that
I
it's
ask
a
a
bad
question?
idea. It'll,
What? How
yeah.
would you responsibly use this tool? Like, what kind of would you just not use it or put heavy guardrails? Like, is there a responsible way to use the tool?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality check, like I think one of the biggest problems with this tool, I will come around to answering your question, but I feel I need to say something else first. I think one of the biggest problems is this thing exists in a universe where it has access to all the written information in the world, and it's never kissed a girl, it's never drank a cup of water, it's never walked down the street. It has no actual real world experience. And so there's a few satirical things where someone like brings in an upside down cup and says, I've been given an inverted cup, I can't get water into it, what can I do? And it's completely stumped. Right? It's like, well, this must be a trick cup. It must be a gimmick cup that can't be used. It's one of these upside down cups, you know, or I've seen a few of these things. So it's important to understand that it doesn't have real world experience, and it's important to understand this. Therefore, it gets caught in this fallacy that I know under the term rationalization, which is when you make logical deduction after logical deduction after logical deduction, but your initial premise or the nature of the deductions has some fallacy in it. So you end up through this chain of logic thinking that something is true, but it isn't. And the only cure for that is every step along the way to test your conclusion against reality, by going out into the real world and doing something. If it's got a suggestion as to how to grow a business, before you get too far down that chain of commands or the chain of logic, is like go and make sure, like speak to a customer, check with the manufacturer, make sure that these things do work and do resonate as anticipated, and don't fall for the trap of liking your own ideas so much that you end up like one of those postmodern philosophers who you read their writing and it makes no sense at all, but somehow they believe that it's true because they got through a chain of reasoning. And I think, and so now to go back and answer your question, Cisco, I think there's a bunch of things. Like there's areas where it doesn't matter if it's slop, right? You're getting a quick response to someone who's not really valuable to you, and you need something quick. You need the thing to be able to say to all the people who I want to say no thank you to, all my whole inbox of email, 99% of my email is itself spam, and I want it deleted. Right? So like I don't really care about the supremacy of the quality of this thing. I'm not asking it to respond thoughtfully to another human being. There may be like low value, like my kids have already gotten used to recognizing that they're a low value customer because they get a pseudo personal response to their queries to a customer service department, which is, we can't help you, this case is closed. Right? There's lots of that kind of automated response that pretends to be non-automated but is obviously automated, and it's just intended to close tickets. When you're dealing with something that is high importance and high value, I think you got to be really careful about using this thing, because if you come across as, I'm making you read stuff that I didn't write, that I think looks prettier because I've put it through an AI, but it actually looks like I've put less, like I haven't given you a personal touch, but I've sent a machine to take care of you. There will be consequences. They could be there could be severe consequences. There could be somebody saying, I asked you to respond to me and you had a robot respond to me. Obviously, you don't value me enough. It could be a lesser degree of that. And it could be that they just send their robot to speak to you and you never speak to them again. And one of the things that I most worry about is when when we put agents in between ourselves, like if if I'm talking to you, Cisco, and you're talking to me, but the reality is I've sent a robot to respond to you, and you've sent a robot to respond to me. We just have our robots responding to each other, and they can send a million emails back and forth to each other without either one of us have ever communicating with the other, and the robots deciding when and where they should escalate to one or the other of us. But at some point, it just becomes too much for either one of us to ever go through the whole thing. So we'll either not talk to each other, or we'll say, "Well, fuck the robots. Let's ignore all the progress that they may or
Bro,
may
this
not
is
have
too
made because
sci-fi.
it's."
Come on, Tomer.
I think
Bro,
it's I
No,
think it's
Tomer,
so
you're using a lot of
close.
extreme examples, like you said, like the suicide stuff and that's, stuff is.
Well, I'm using them because I don't think that I'm, I think that they're extreme in the sense that they make the
Mhm,
case, but I don't think that they're extreme in that their generalization is part of the
mhm.
problem. Like I read stuff that's written by AI, and I cannot help myself but say, "Oh, here we go again. Here's this sentence structure. Here's that sentence structure." Now I don't know what's authentic or not authentic at all anymore within the whole thing, and it's long. Why does it have to be so long?
But why
Well,
are you,
because
Tomer, why are you
I
thinking
guess
about that? This part is authentic, this part is not authentic. For me, I'm just like, is this like my videos, for example, right? Like, w-
oh, I'll tell
mhm.
you what it's like. It's like you're eating a submarine sandwich or something, and it looks really good from the outside. You take it, you take a bite into it, and it's
Ah,
hollow
come
and it's
on, man.
empty
I
all of a
don't feel,
sudden.
guy, Tomer, the lived
Would
experience.
It
Okay, that's for
absolutely
would
you.
is.
I don't feel like that, though. I
You
don't,
would comparing an AI video versus a real video be a good comparison?
sure, yeah. I mean, so an AI video with AI actors and AI explosions is very. It's already very formulaic. Like you can tell them you can tell them apart apart from something with a real actor and real human emotions. It's at best it's like this Hollywood explosion stuff
but we're early,
and
Tomer. It's
short
going to get
animation, but I
better.
don't see any great narrative. It's going to get I mean I keep hearing it's going to get better, it's going to get better. So at the very least let's differentiate what it might be versus what it is, because right now what everyone's producing is what it
I've
is, and the what it is isn't great. It's like it's novel. Like the visual stuff is easy to look at, and it's not terribly time consuming. I mean, a lot of it is really awful, right? It's like take this girl and put her in this dress, so it's exploitative and lazy as well. And I think all of this stuff everything that there's a double-edged sword with every tool, like a sword that has two edges. It's a very good metaphor. It's like if it makes it easier, it's good that it makes it easier, but it also tends to make us lazier. And in the same way that, to take another extreme example, that pornography makes people too lazy to actually woo one another and date and have expectations of building a relationship in order to get to the climactic part of it. There is these shortcuts that are being taken, but they're not delivering the real experience. Part of what we were talking about last week was the experience of being creative is an end in and of itself, not the creative output, but the experience of creating is a valuable end in and of itself because it's revelatory to who you are and what you're capable of. And so the shortcut of saying, write me an article, it's not you writing an article, it's something else writing the article. Maybe based off of ideas that you've had and given to it. But again, which of them, if you've spent a long time with this thing, how much of it is yours? How much of it is it's hard to
uh, I've
tell.
I've got a good bridge topic here because I think
Yeah.
you're if I recall correctly, the video you made with Swan, the legendary treasure of Satoshi Nakamoto, wasn't that like
Right.
AI video in the background?
Yeah. So the video, I worked with, I didn't do actually any
Right,
of the
right, right.
video. I wrote the article
R-
and,
Well,
and read the
all I
article.
wanted to say with that, because like it's a phenomenal piece, right? You have your narration and your writing overlaid it,
Right.
but I guess what was able to be done at that point in time with the AI video was
Yeah.
you could get the vision out there right? That resonates
Right.
with people. Like I love that fucking video. I love
Totally.
and like, dude, I totally agree with all what you're saying, Tomer. I think these guardrails need to be in place. I think Cisco asked an amazing question, and I think, you know, this is like what Brune is doing with his TikTok is, you know, his whole Vibe Samurai mission. You know, Brune's not, he's not claiming to be the best writer, but you know what Bruins told me is he can kind of quickly, you know, test things out, and he can put messages and short videos out there that do resonate, and there's people commenting of how helpful it is. And so I guess I view it in like the same light of, you know, obviously these tools can be used well, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to listen. And last week when I spoke on the space, I was trying to be very careful in saying I haven't seen your stuff. I'm not telling you whether it is or isn't. I have no objection to reading from a teleprompter, especially if it's a lengthy thing and you want to be precise and concise. Like you've edited your text down to what you choose to read off the teleprompter because you're constrained on time. So it's like what I just am cautioning against is the loss of oneself. And I'm not accusing Bernie of this,
Bro, you gotta
but
stop calling me Bruni,
when he
bro.
said,
Everybody,
"What do you want me to call you,
We're calling him
Bruno,
Brony
Bro?
now.
What am I
everybody
supposed to
is
Everybody
call you?"
calls
making
me
fun of
Turbo,
me.
Bruni,
Turbin,
Bruni,
It's because of
Bruni,
Tomer.
Bruni,
Bruni, Bruni.
Tomer's
Bro.
Tomer's a
Well,
boomer,
sorry, I actually don't know. What are we supposed to? Everyone's just calling each other bro on here.
No,
Uh,
bro.
wait,
Hi.
Bro.
Tomer. He hasn't made it until Tomer knows his name. He hasn't made it until Tomer knows the name.
Yeah, is that the
I'm going to
word?
listen more
I'm
carefully.
not famous yet.
But when the host of this
Tomer, I have.
channel, who doesn't like being called Bruni,
You're a smart man. Now you tricked me. You know exactly what I'm called, and you've been calling me Bruni to bring me
Braun
down
Betty.
because I have 250,000 followers, and you think I have a big head, so you're trying to bring me down by calling me
no, that's
Bruni.
somebody
Bruni.
else. That's somebody else. I don't think you have a big head, but I will say, like I think you've acknowledged, like at the beginning of this space, is that you're not a good writer, so you don't want to write, and that ironically is negative self
Okay,
talk
okay, good, good.
and
Tomer,
avoidance.
Oh, you're right. Okay, that is good.
That
You know why? I'm gonna tell you something.
fuck. That's
Because,
so good.
bro, in high school, I I was a really good writer, and in college. Like
So you
like
are
so
a
my
really good
English
writer,
teacher,
and
yeah, Mrs. Morenstein. I even remember she was like, every article you write, like you say something different. Exactly what I do as a Vibe Samurai. She noticed that and she was like, you should really write some
yeah.
more. But I just didn't like it, Tomer. Tomer, I never liked it. And even in college, I did well on the essays and things like that. And it was just torture for me. That's the word I would think.
Okay, but then
Right.
don't write, but don't at the same time produce something that is written for you that you present as your writing when it's clearly AI's writing to anyone who can see it, even if you've made edits and additions to it. Like you don't you don't owe
Ah,
anybody some defense of authenticity
mhm.
that that's
But
behind a veil of inauthenticity.
what's happening here? Tomer just went full Donald Trump on you. This
Yeah,
veiled
he
sort
did.
of.
Yeah.
You're way too good looking to write so badly. It's like, yeah, I sort of get. Thank you, I guess. No, he punched
I
Tomer.
don't know that that was a
I
compliment to
know, I
me or
know.
an
That is some
insult
high
to.
level
Tomer
shit right
punched
there.
you in the fucking face, man. Love it,
Yeah.
love it.
Pub Lord,
Tomer punched you in the face,
Pub
man.
Lord, you know Tomar more than anybody here. Like, what do you think about his whole AI slop? Like, getting triggered all the time. He's going crazy on the
I,
timeline
yep,
talking about
I,
AI slop, and I'm
I
like,
will. That, yep. So yeah, dude, I'll jump in on this one real quick. Tomer is 100% correct. I will say this: the one great thing about being human, so to speak, is like you got to fall down, you got to pick yourself up, you got to create things, you got to write shit down, as it were. Um, I think Tomer comes from the creative side of things in life. He just likes to build things, make things, And this is what we have going on with AI right now. Fuck, man. Anyone can do my taxes. Anyone can translate my words. Yeah, guess what? We outsourced that shit to India a while ago, and that's where you are. You can outsource the basic shit, but the creativity part, no, you can't.
No, but
And
bro,
AI
God,
fucks up with that.
no.
You
This
got,
is
you got,
this is
you get,
where I
you get.
disagree.
Let
Okay,
me
okay, okay. Go
finish.
ahead, go ahead.
Let see, you're AI, man. See, you can't even.
Sorry,
You
I
got no
can't
fucking
control
patience.
myself.
I know you can't. You have no control. Thankfully, their voice is down there as a speaker, but he's got that Nazi control in him. He won't he won't even say anything until he's got that new Hugo Boss black suit looking good. And yeah, goddamn, their voice, you look good, look
Get the
good.
back end there.
No, so no, but here's what it comes down to, man. The creativity side of the humans, um, that shit's got to scale forever. And hey, look at Captain Kirk, James T. fucking Kirk. That guy's 95 now, man. William Shatner, hats off to you, my friend. 95, looking like he's 65, running the world. He is running the world. By the way, he's the one that is in charge of all the bombing happening in Iran. No, yeah,
Bro,
I'm
Pub
just I'm
Lord,
fucking around.
Puppy, how many
Yeah,
drinks?
go.
Thanks for that great defense
None.
of
0. 10 months
Puppy,
sober. Thank you.
how many glasses tonight? How many glasses tonight?
No, none, man.
maybe you should have
Fuck,
one.
man. Dude, I want one.
Go get
I
a
want
one.
one
Go
real
get
bad.
one where you're on
Nope.
Vibe Sesh,
Nope.
The
bro.
worst influence ever.
Yeah.
Not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it.
Don't
But
do
I
it,
love
bro.
you guys.
Stay strong.
Stay strong. Hey,
You guys, I am. You guys keep me sort of sober.
so
I want to
good.
add in here on the same,
Go
the
ahead.
same topic of this AI stuff, because I think if you know something really, really well, if you're a deep expert in something and run that by AI, you're gonna like Tomer's a better writer than any AI out there. Okay. And I think, Tomer, that it's your craft, it's your art, it's something deeply human and passionate about, right? Um, and so, but for, for all these other people, if they're just trying to, and I guess this goes into the business side of things too, of, as long as something's good enough, a lot of times you're shipping MVP, right? The minimum viable product. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't need to like go into this too deep, I suppose, but I feel for you, Tomer, in the sense of you have spent your whole life writing and crafting this skill, and it's amazing, it's phenomenal, and we all love it. And yeah, like you're seeing
Dude,
all this BS out here. What's
I,
up, Pablo?
I'm gonna jump in. Yeah, I'm gonna jump in on this one because yeah, Toner man, fuck, he gets all the love and the hate and all that. I'll jump in it. Has anyone ever tried to write something for themselves? Have you ever written anything down and then you wake up the next morning and you say to yourself, "What the fuck? This is a big pile of dog shit.
Yes, I did.
This
I
is
have done
this is
that.
Every
I
day.
have
Every
done
yep,
day.
that.
yes, do it. This is what a writer is. Writing is a goddamn process, man. You have to hate and loathe yourself. You want to kick your own ass. It's almost like hodling Bitcoin. This is why most failed writers come to Bitcoin. It's the same thing. I'm, I'm dumping in to save Tomer from himself because Tomer's like, fuck it. I don't got enough sorry in my life. I'm gonna go into spaces and
So
tell
just a
people
couple of
how bad my
points of
yeah.
order.
Go ahead.
A couple of points of order. Turbine, I really appreciate. Do you mind if I call you Turbine, or
Yeah,
could I
no,
call you
yeah,
Turby?
Turby.
Turby.
You can call him Turby. Call him Turby.
I
Hey,
accept
Bo.
all
Turby.
names.
You can call me anything, Daddy.
I've only been a writer for a few years. I was actually a businessman for the overwhelming majority of
Wow, I did
my
not know that.
career. I only turned to writing in recent years because I had something I was passionate about that I wanted to communicate through writing,
Mm.
and that required that I learn the craft and hone the craft. It's not to say I didn't do any writing, but I, I didn't do any writing. After I got out of I didn't do any creative writing after I got out of high school because I never took any
Mm,
creative writing courses in
right.
university. I had to write essays, of course, in university. I had to write memos and emails in business, but
Mm,
you know, um, my writing comes from not decades of practice as a writer, but from being passionate about wanting to say something. And I think that's where I'm coming from when I'm saying it's if you're gonna present something as your writing and you're gonna go through a process. There's like a couple of things here. One is the writing. My own personal experience was that I learned a lot about myself. I had ideas, but the ideas developed through my writing of them, not through my the AI didn't exist for most of the time, and I never tried to use it as a supplemental writing tool. I think the last days, some of you may know, I worked at Swan Bitcoin for a while as editor in chief. Towards the end of my employment there, we were starting to publish more news, and it was the early days of ChatGPT, and we were trying to use ChatGPT to write articles, and I felt the inauthenticity, like we were taking a headline and trying to make an article out of it, and I found that what initially came out of it, I would just was not prepared to put my name or any name, let alone to publish it to, because it all was just in taking a headline and then puffing it up into an article to inflate it so that it looked like some work was done. But anyone with anyone with knowledge in what was going on would be able to see that it wasn't really
Tomer, can I say something real
researched.
quick? This is why everyone would love you. This is why you should be loved. It's because you got this thing called fucking integrity, man. You got fucking integrity of anything you would put out there is something that you wrote yourself. And it's not that I
Okay.
would do anything that I would ever do.
No, thank you for bringing it up.
You are,
I
man.
appreciate the
It's
compliment.
true.
And I just want to say, like, that is implicit in what I'm saying here, and I'm saying that taking a shortcut around integrity actually harms yourself more
Yes.
than anybody else. It's not necessarily beneficial to others, but if you're doing something that lacks integrity, there's
but
consequences, and
Tomer,
the
mhm.
best
It's
piece of writing I ever read about integrity is Ayn Rand's novel The Fountainhead, which I really
I
really
love that book,
recommend.
Tomer.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I mean, I've read a lot about it. And if you think about it, the theme of that book is integrity,
Yes.
right? The hero is someone who acts with integrity in all circumstances, and then he's contrasted against various characters who lack ability but pretend to have ability. That's Peter Keating. Characters who have no skill and no integrity. That's the true villain of the novel, Ellsworth Toohey. And one who has ability but chooses to take the shortcuts to in breach of their integrity. That's Gail Wynan, the newspaper publisher, and he ends up having a very tragic ending. Like he he chooses to want to stand up with integrity to defend Howard Work, the hero, at the end through his chain of tabloid newspapers. But but they are already what they are. They're papers that lack integrity, that attack individuals with integrity, and he's unable to use even his own property to do that. And I think that this is where the challenge lies. It's like every time you compromise your integrity, you I'm going to repeat myself. You compromise your integrity. You damage the integration
it
of yourself as a
it
spirit.
destroys your soul, Tomer.
Yeah, you're
It does.
destroying your soul bit by bit.
Yeah.
And that's where
Yeah.
I'm coming at this from. I'm not like saying, "Oh, not a you. I'm going to tell on you that you like." That's nothing about me telling other people about you. It's about you to yourself, that you have to have integrity. You have to be who you are. If you aren't who you are, you may get to a point where you cannot no longer be who you are, and it's and you've got no one to blame but
Mm.
yourself.
But Tomer, you know what's so interesting about what you're saying as you're describing your writing? I feel like just replace everything you said about writing. Oh, I was able to I was passionate. I was a business before, but I was passionate about wanting to say something through my writing, you said. Okay. You know, the things that I'm doing with TikTok right now, I'm
Yeah.
passionate about wanting to say
Oh,
something
I'm not
through
being critical of
AI.
that at
Through
all.
AI is what I'm just saying. That you can replace what you're saying. It's a tool to me. Writing is a tool for you as well, right? No?
So here's the problem that
There's
people don't
I
understand, and I'll put this succinctly. AI can't replace the emotion that goes into 3 words on the page, 3 words, 5 words. You cannot understand what it's like. Take 3 words, take your 5 words, put them down on a page in a certain order. That is fucking tough, man. Everything that was sum up your life, think of this. Anything, take 5 words that was sum up your life and put them down on a page in order. It's almost like, look, man, I'm as morbid as they come when you watch like, hey, what was the last meal of this inmate? The morbid part of me is, yeah, what did they order as a last meal? Hey, you know what? Take some last words. Try to put that shit down on paper in front of you and make sense of it. It is fucking tough, man. It is tough and it makes you better. It makes you stronger. And no one knows that until they write 5 words down on a piece of fucking paper.
Nick.
Is that Pub Lord who's talking? My Wi-Fi's all
Yes.
jacked up, so I
Yeah,
hope
that
I'm
was
muted.
That
me.
up.
Sorry.
Uh,
I was waxing poetic. Sorry.
I love what you're saying. So I have written about the fact of how fucking hard writing is a lot. Written a lot of newsletters about it. It's part of my book and in my manuscript, and I say that like it's insanely hard. I'm afraid that there's going to be a whole generation of kids that never actually realize how hard it is to write and put a coherent sentence down, to tell a coherent story. Like I'm sure that is a possible future for this next generation because of AI. Bruin, you were talking about how you don't like to write, like you're good at it, but you don't enjoy doing it. Anybody in here a fan of David Goggins? Like, have you guys heard of him?
Yes,
Anybody? Yes.
sir.
Okay.
Yep.
I see the guy that's like real fit and shit.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
So he talks
Hey,
about the thing he hates more than
Nick,
anything. Yep,
Nick, can I tell you how lazy I am? I just gave you a follow.
my man.
It meant nothing to me. No, I followed you. No, because I like to write. But yeah, I gave you a follow. This is exactly what you're talking to,
That
my
takes
friend.
two. That
Sorry.
takes two thumb pushes. So you're not that lazy. I'll follow you back there. Two more. So David Goggins has talked about I fucking hate running, right? But that's why I do it. I do it because it's hard. Because I'm showing that I have domain over my mind. I'm the boss, right? And he'll talk about how he'll take. I want it when it's a fucking 4 a.m. I want it when it's raining outside. I want it when I have 1,000. Like he literally, I don't know if you guys have heard this. I think it was on Joe Rogan. He'll take voice recordings of people hating on him and like play it in his ears while he goes out for a run in the morning. It's just like a total fuck you of like, look, I'm in charge. The whole world could be against me and I'm in charge. What if, just offering, Bruin, I never tell you what to do, but I'm just offering this as an idea. What if that writing is your running for David Goggins? Like the fact that you hate it, maybe there's something really powerful on the other side of the struggle of all of this. And what's on the other side of it is maybe your true authentic voice, your true power, your true wisdom, all of this. Because I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna say the C word. It sounds a little bit like cope, maybe a cousin of cope, to say that, oh, it's my passion to express things through AI. Because if it was really your passion, what you would do is start your TikTok videos with, hey, I was talking with ChatGPT and Claude and it gave me this idea. And here's the idea. There's a reason that you want to say it in your own voice. Now, understand TikTok, you get 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Again, we can come up with all sorts of reasons why. But I think, again, dude, like ask yourself the question of what is really the end goal of all of this? Is it to help people? And is it better to help people from an authentic place where you're sharing and being transparent of the fact that you're using AI? Or is it more helpful? Because what you're doing is people that maybe have a less I don't know, less IQ, less self-awareness, less life experience will go, dude, look at this guy, he's so good and coherent and clear and being able to express these ideas in such a short amount of time. I want to be able to do that. And we're not open and transparent and authentic about the fact that we're using AI to come up with these videos and these messages. I went really hard on you,
Mm,
dude. My bad. But you know it's all from love.
yeah, no, great points, but on the writing stuff, right? Like like I said, I I was a good writer. I got good grades, always A's on my essays. I went to a good school and everything. So we're operating at a high level, but it was torture for me. So like to say that I had to go through that because I had to write so many essays and it was important. It was a big part of my grade and I really cared about getting high score. And so you know what I'm saying? I did have to do the David Goggins thing. I did it to get elite grades in school, and I hated it. I hated the whole thing. I would spend like literally, and it was always usually the funny thing is like the first paragraph, right? I remember even to this day. It's been a while since I wrote something, but even to this day, writing I remember those times where it was just torture to even just get to the first paragraph, and then it got easier, obviously. But
Brian
I
Biddy,
went through
listen,
them.
man. I'll tell you how
Mhm.
easy it is. Look, I'm gonna start you out with this one. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Okay, I'm just gonna start you out there, and now go.
Brune, I'm going to just stick with this therapy session for
I'm very
three
high
more
right
minutes.
now. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I'm sorry.
Nick's cooking. Let Nick cook.
Go
Three more
ahead.
minutes, and then I actually got to get back to my day job because I'm working from
Oh,
home.
we hear that every
Yeah,
time,
right
Mister
on. You
Nick.
got to
Uh
put
huh.
that in, Mr.
Classic.
Nick.
So these 3 minutes are really important, Brune, because see, I'm going to be leaving soon. So it's
Yes, I'm
fine.
paying attention. I'm paying attention. Go ahead.
Okay, I wanna take you back to the struggle and the grind, and we'll say the mental, intellectual David Goggins of having to write those essays that you hated and getting to the other side. I'm assuming you have some sort of degree, something to show for all of this,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, how proud are you that you didn't give up because it was hard back when you were in school?
Right. Very proud.
How
Very
much how
proud.
much did that shape you and turn you into the person that you are today?
And very much so. That
if
whole,
if
yes.
if you had AI and Claude back then to write all of your essays for you, would it have shaped you into a softer, less capable man?
See, this is where I disagree because I feel like all you guys are saying, you think it's easy. You think it's easy to come up with these
I don't
videos. It's
think it's easy,
not.
dude. I do it for 9 different people all the time.
Right,
Everyone's saying
Yes, I
it's
exactly.
get it.
hard.
And what I'm saying is, like, I don't know why you're equating the writing to some kind of David Goggins thing. I'm going through a David Goggins thing. This is not easy for me to put myself out there. This is why I was saying authenticity is origin, the source, stakes. The stakes are high for me because it's
So
important
Brune,
to me.
so
Go ahead.
it's hard.
Sorry.
I agree. I understand it's hard for you. Would it be even harder to write in your own voice, know that it's not, you don't have somebody backing you up, the AI being the one to back you up, putting that out there? That would be harder. We agree on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Harder.
Because it's harder, would it shape you stronger? Would that be stronger iron shaping stronger iron and turning you into a better creator that could deliver better messages, impact people in a deeper way and with a wider reach?
Nick, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm too deep, man. I can't come
That's what
back
she
out of
said.
this. So
That's what she
I
said.
got, bro.
I got an idea.
there's nothing stopping this train, and I'm 50 years old. I've been through a lot of shit, guys. You guys don't know the full story. Someday,
Dude,
maybe I'll share it. But I'm just
totally got
saying,
it.
whatever is gonna happen on this other side, I really appreciate all the fucking advice and
Yeah.
warnings. But I'm ready. I'm ready.
Brune, I
I'm
got two more
Br-
pieces of homework for you, which these are big
yes,
commitments. You
sir.
can
Go,
take them or
Nick.
leave them.
Yes. Go ahead.
Read the book, and Tomer, I'm interested if you've read this, Bird by Anne Lamott. It's a lot of what Tomer and Pub Lord have been talking about. So it's probably the best book ever on writing, in my opinion. And it talks about just how much everybody sucks at writing and how every first draft is shitty, even somebody who's been writing for 50 years, and that what like the actual art and craft of and dedication and love of writing, like what it actually means. So Bird by Anne Lamott, I'll DM it to you if you're actually interested. That's kind of a big commitment. Smaller commitment. Do you guys know who David Cho is?
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you listened to his recent podcast with Andrew Huberman? It's like 3 months ago.
No,
Okay,
no.
go everybody in the space now. Again, it's like 4 hours long, and it's the exact opposite of AI. So he talks probably 95% of the time. He has so many likes, so many, like, he can't tell a fucking story without jumping here and jumping there and jumping all over the place. But it's beautiful. It's maybe the most, I've listened to thousands of podcasts, maybe my favorite podcast ever, because you just see this guy bearing his soul. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it and thinking about it again. Bearing his soul, he tears up and cries several times, and he shares shit like insane stuff that you're just not supposed to share. Like Howard Stern.
DM me some of his stuff. I've got the bird
Okay,
by
I will
bird
DM
book
you. I will DM
since
you
you
this
mentioned it.
this podcast
Oh
as well.
shit.
But go, and it's like 4 hours long. Do it while you're going for a run or working out or whatever. Listen to that whole thing, and I think that may help to shape this whole idea of what authenticity actually is, what creativity actually is. I'm gonna take off. Love you guys.
Nice. Nick, love you, man. Always learning with you, brother. Thank you. Hey, let's go to
I think
the
some of the, yeah, thanks, Nick. Good to hear from you. I think one of the thoughts that I'm having here is there's different people that want different things, and they want them in different ways, and they get different value from them. And I'll be the first to admit I'm an authenticity craving addict.
Your
this is
authenticity
like
I
maxing.
can't,
AA
and the
meeting.
reason I'm so triggered by the AI stuff is it's completely inauthentic, and it is a robot machine, inhuman
All
machine
right, guys. I
pretending to
think we
be a
beat this
human.
authenticity dead
Yeah.
horse. Turbine, what
It,
other?
it,
Actually,
it's so
no.
he's so
Bro,
right here. He's so right here on this. I don't know anyone on stage ever go out and play around at golf. You ever go out there and hit
BB
that
has.
sweet
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe you did, man. But you never know what it's like to golf until you hit that perfect shot. It feels like nothing. You're holding a feather in your hand, and when it hits, you don't even know it hit the ball. That
Bro,
thing
you're
just,
holding your feather
yeah,
in your hand. What does that mean?
that's exactly right. This is the difference between writing, painting, creating. This is what Tomer's talking about. AI can put the club in. Have you ever seen the golf machine that they have? God damn, they got a golf machine that'll hit it straight down the fairway, 350 yards. But it's nothing like doing it yourself. There's nothing like that feeling of holding it loosely, watching that thing just come off of there like, my God. And you say, my God, because you know you didn't do it yourself. It was God Himself that helped you. You have reached into the netherlands, the nether region of what is pure in life. This is what life is about, not
Man,
AI.
I
You
gotta
can't write.
start freaking
Yeah,
golfing.
you do, man. You do. Because this is where it's at, golfing and
Pub Lord.
writing and painting.
Pub Lord, everything that you're saying. See, this is the funny thing. All the language that you and Toma are using, I feel about AI. Really. Like I feel like all these things and it's expanded my
You're lazy.
consciousness.
You're a lazy bitch. You're a lazy bitch.
I
that's
think
it's
Come to Tomer Space on Sunday. You lazy bitch. You don't want to
shit.
work. You
I
don't want
gotta
to do
work
anything.
harder. Damn.
but
I
okay.
think that's the
I mean,
conclusion, guys.
guys, this gets weird because we all know AI is not going away, and we're just gonna have to continue living with this tool. And I think in all of my weeks here with Brune, I know how much he puts into this shit and using it as a tool to get what he's trying to say and trying to accomplish. But with that being said, I loved what Nick was saying, for you, Brune, and I think it would be cool. Maybe it's like if you have the transparency of like, yo, AI, and I like this is the thing, you are like you tell everybody exactly how you use AI, right? But I still think it would be cool. And like to Tomer mentioned with the TikTok video, but even like some of your Substack articles and stuff as well, you could totally have articles where you're like, yo, Vibe Samurai, Bruni checking in here. I'm writing this, completely on my own. Maybe fucking do that like once a month or something, right? Like that would be interesting because then we can kind of see both because you can rapidly ideate and get your vibe out there quicker. right? It's kind of like the MVP thing, and you're scaling presence. But I guess I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Like, what if you
Bro, that's a great idea. I mean, it's
Do a
just,
hybrid.
yeah, you know what? Like Pablo is right.
hybrid,
I'm
dude? Hell
just,
yeah.
but dude, Pablo is right. I'm just fucking lazy, guys. I could do it. But I mean, it's gonna take so much time, guys, and I got so much to do, and I gotta hang out and enjoy life. I mean, I just want to get my message out there. That's my point. I have ideas. Here's the thing. I have ideas just like I am. I'm riffing. That's why I'm the Vibe Samurai. That's why, we've had so much fun all this time. And I just want to take this to the world. That's what scaling presence is for me. And this is what I do. I'm a coach.
But
I have
what
lots of
the fuck?
clients.
What the
Uh-huh.
fuck is a Vibe Samurai? What the fuck is that?
Turbine,
What?
explain. Turbine, explain. Turbine.
Oh man, dude, that's a hard. I mean,
It's Bruin.
this is really Brune's. This is really Brune's creative vision. Is the Vibe Samurai. I mean, if you go look at Brune's, AI generated photo in his in his profile, he's got Bitcoin in there. He's got the katana in
Mm.
his teeth. He's just giga jacked, but he's also this kind of divine masculine warrior archetype that
Wow,
is very
divine
present with
masculine.
you. Clarity,
Divine.
What?
divine feminine too. Let's
The,
be real. You
what?
embody
What?
both.
What are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here, boys? Come on, up your game.
Hey,
Up your
Threading.
well,
game.
okay.
What are we
Again,
doing
like
here?
I want to hear what V Hodl has to say because he was going to have his hand up, but no, Brune has this massive vision. I mean, he's pretty much creating like his own archetype is the way I see it of like what a true vibe samurai is, and I think he's going to try to embody that. And I mean, it's an ambitious undertaking. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brune, or misreading anything, or
Cisco.
Cisco add in.
Cisco. Yeah, Cisco, what do you think? What is a Vibe Samurai to you? You've been here on Vibe Session since day one. How can you
I
explain from
well,
your Gen Z
my
voice?
experience has just
Mm,
been these vibe sessions, and he's a great. He keeps a good conversation going, and we kind of call it like a campfire, and just keeping the flame going. And sorry, brain fart, but Vibe Samurai is just this little group here, Vibe Sesh. We've been coming here weekly, and like myself, I was a lurker, and he just invited me up, and he's like, "Hey, tell me about your story. Oh, you're a Bitcoiner. Oh, blah blah blah." And over time, we've been just showing up every week, and he's bringing people up to speak to them, and he gets to know them. He gets to just explore threads, and as we've grown a little community, Turbine, Brandon, V Hodl, like everybody started just slowly coming in one by one. We have conversations live. So that's my experience of Bruin right now. I think he can just funnel a lot of this AI stuff and then just give it to a
Okay, so
live
Brandon, what you're
stream.
saying is it's like gay retard shit
Yeah,
that we're talking
yeah,
about. Gay retard
yeah.
shit.
Just jerk off
Yeah, thank
session.
God we're bringing gay retard faggot language back
oh
into
my
the
All right,
world.
God.
all right, Brune. I
Here we
want to
go.
see Vibe Samurai
Yeah,
analysis of Pub Lord here.
vibe it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm gonna be so
Threading
pub
presence.
yeah, pub lord. So like my background is I had a career on Wall Street and finance and all that stuff. And then
Gay. So gay.
okay. Yeah, let me try again. So here's the Vibe Samurai mission. I want to talk. I'm quoting Dostoevsky. It's one of my favorite quotes. I want to talk about everything with at least one person the way I talk to myself. I'm that guy in my coaching
Okay.
business, and I want to be that guy for the world, Pablo. That's the mission.
You lucked out with Dostoevsky there because yeah. Yeah, Crime and Punishment, a motherfucker, he wrote some good stuff.
There we
You
go.
lucked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
You see the vision now?
We're saying, you see the vision. Pablo got it. He really, damn. See, all you had to do. That's Vibe Samurai shit right there,
So
Pablo.
so Vern, you want to be the guy that people talk to
No, no, no,
in the
no.
way that they only talk to
No, no, no.
themselves,
I
or you want
want.
to talk to everybody the way you talk to yourself?
No, I'm saying I want to have people reach a certain level of awareness and understanding and love to be able, but because you need to learn certain things about awareness. I had a video about the 7 stages of awareness, right? How I look at it. We talk about communication and behavior. You need to do all that stuff. And then maybe someday I'll start talking about Bitcoin and because you got to get your financial shit in order and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what I'm trying to do there. And
You're on a journey. You're on a journey. I don't actually connect to what you were saying about the Dostoevsky quote, but I also feel like we're putting you under too bright a spotlight, making you feel too defensive. Like you are, you are who you are, and you're going through the journey that you're going through. And somehow last week this discussion about AI came up, and it like it's all pointed at you, and I don't think that that's helping you, and it's also diverting away from maybe some of the points that some of the rest of us want to make about AI. You know, I raise cautions, not to say don't use it, but to say, you know, like if you're using a tool, if you're using a jigsaw, you know, you can cut your finger off if you're not careful. So that's what I'm bringing it up in the context of, especially when I see a lot of people walking around with fingers cut off. Like my whole Twitter
To,
feed is what I would say is misuse of
to,
these tools.
Tara, man, is what. Do you think we would ever had like the Grand Inquisitor? Could we ever had that chapter? Do you think that would ever come to an existence with AI? I don't know, man. That's the scary part. The brilliance
See,
thing. What do
I
you
think
think?
one of the things that's been talked about in a couple of spaces I've been on today, even, is just no one can really see the future of this thing in the same way that no one could really see the future of the internet when it came about. It was like, oh, we're going to have an information superhighway, but we didn't see that it would be very user generated content. Uh, you know, that it's all people hanging out in rooms like this or posting tweets or stuff. It took social media to come about and mature, which was a late stage development when the internet was already really connected and most of the other business models weren't working well on the internet besides search. I don't think we know exactly what's going to come up. I think what comes up is not going to look like anything before. It's not going to be a souped up search engine. It's not going to be the creator of content. It'll be something really alien and bizarre. And I don't know exactly how quickly it'll happen. A lot of these things look like they're moving very quickly until they hit a ceiling, and then it takes a while before there's a breakthrough to the next level. So, Grand Inquisitor, I don't know. Like I'm more expecting it to be this thing that I do have a considerable amount of fear about, which is that it's going to get into your brain. Like, and that we will lose the discernment and the border between what's us and what's it, and it is going to be much more powerful than us, and so we will dissolve into it. These words are not perfect because they're hard to connect to it. But I mean, I've seen a couple of cases. Nobody in the present company is included in this, but I've seen a couple of cases of individuals who are like so attached at the hip to this thing that everything that you say to them, they simply copy paste it into chat and barf back at you the results. And having seen it a couple of times, it's like the person's gone. There's no person there left anymore. There's a physical extension of Chat GPT, and this is not extreme cases that you've read about in the newspapers or in the media. It's like it's people I've known, and I can see it happen. And I mean, I have seen people who publish videos of themselves talking to Chat GPT, and it's saying crazy, crazy things about bizarre spiritual things. And they're like, you see, I've unlocked the mysteries of the universe. And it's like, no, this is a sycophantic re-amplification of what were some vulnerabilities in your psyche that are now been fully blown out to make you basically insane. So I'm cautious. I'm admittedly fearful, not like in a panic way of saying I won't touch this stuff and this, that, the other, but I can see a lot of mistakes that people are making with it.
I think you're so respectful of your own wishes. You could easily go in there Hey, AI, I want a Sydney Sweeney double. Give me her. What you're looking at right now, and you're right, is like fuck, man. Um, there there is no good a question is very important. And tell me, yeah, throw this one out there at your spaces. The question that anyone comes up with, the question presupposes how you framed anything. It presupposes how you viewed life, man. But when you ask a question, fuck, you've already framed half the battle. And most people don't understand that. When you ask a question, you've already framed it in a way you want the answer to. That's the scary part. Um, we're looking forward to a thing that can answer regular questions, but damn, man, be careful what you wish for.
Who here has read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Like, raise hands, or
30 years ago, but yeah, I gotta go back.
I'd remind you. But has anybody else here read it?
I have not.
I've heard good things
So
about it.
I really recommend. It's a very fun book. It's humorous, but it's also pretty profound in terms of the nature of mediocrity and stupidity and silliness and bureaucracy and everything. I mean, there's things I'm tempted to say, but it would really spoil the book. So I'm not going to say them. I'm going to say
So,
read The Hitchhiker's
Tomer,
Guide to the Galaxy.
where would you put that in a sense? Because I know you're a big Ayn Rand fan, like I am, but also like the art of motorcycle maintenance. Where
Yeah.
would you put it in there?
Oh,
In
it's a
that
much
group?
lighter book than all of these, but it's funny. The thing that I was thinking, so the art, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is a philosophy book, and Ayn Rand's a philosopher. Um, e- um, oh, what's the name? Douglas Adams is the author. He's not a philosopher; he's a comedian and a bit of a science fiction writer. He wrote some of the original Doctor Who episodes, and then he wrote this series and a bunch of other stuff. But it's just the first. But in this book, and many of you will have heard parts of it, like that the answer to life, the universe, and everything is 42. But there's more to it than that. There's this big question of then, okay, well, so now that we have the answer, what's the question?
Yeah,
And that's
bro,
what you were saying
Tomer,
that was
tell us
reminding
about
me.
it. Tell us about it. No, I don't think anybody's gonna read Hitchhiker's Guide.
Hey,
Just spoil it
Oh
for
my
us.
God, why
can,
not? It's a
No, they
short
will.
book.
But like, yeah, exactly. But tell us the
It's a
punchline.
very short book and it's great comedy. And it's like, if I tell you, oh, you guys should go and see Jerry Seinfeld's stand up routine, and you're like, no, tell me about it. It's like, well, I got to tell you all the jokes. I don't remember them in the
No,
right
but
order.
Tomer, but was there
I don't
like a
have the
point?
delivery.
Because I read it and I remember at the time, like I thought the
Yeah, okay, yeah,
jokes.
there is a point.
But
There,
but let me
there,
tell you something. My experience was I was like, I don't get the jokes. The jokes are corny. And I didn't understand the 42 part. Like, and I haven't reread it. This was long time ago. I read it
hmm,
and I didn't get it. So maybe you can explain
hmm.
just the general.
no,
The
you guys, I
preposterousness of it, right? Um, but the part that I was thinking of is like, it turns out I'm going to spoil parts of the book now for you, but it's not all of the book. The whole Earth exists only as a giant experiment to answer like that. In before the Earth existed, these great philosophers uh, wanted to build a computer that would answer the question, life, the universe, and everything, and. And so they commissioned the construction of the greatest computer ever, the Earth, which, or sorry, a computer called Deep. See, this is why you don't ask me to tell Jerry Seinfeld's jokes. A Deep Mind, and it worked for millions of years to come up with this answer. And when it finally came time to provide the answer, the computer was like, it's an AI. It's like, oh, you're really not going to like the answer. Are you sure you want to hear it? Why don't I answer something else for you? And the philosophers who commissioned or it was commissioned by I will say some alien life forms so, as to avoid spoiling another joke in the book. But the philosophers really objected to it because they wanted to give the answer to life, the universe, and everything. They didn't want they would be put out of a job if the AI created it. But it turned out that they were okay with it because it would take millions of years to compute the answer. And then when it finally had the answer was 42. And
Oh, no, that's
so you see, it is
hysterical.
funny.
It is
It is.
funny. I didn't get all of this. Wow. They spent all that time and philosopher and all this issue, this, that, different thing. And the answer was 42.
Right. So after all this scandal, and so then they needed to figure out the question, and I won't spoil any more
Tomer,
of
Tomer,
it.
but
But
why
The,
42? Why
Wait, wait.
42?
can you guys
Let's.
let's look at the sheer genius of this. Look at the sheer genius of this written over 50 years ago to come up with this commentary on life
Yes,
now.
yes,
That
yes.
is
That's what I was
fucking
thinking.
brilliant.
Bro, that is fucking crazy. That's the other part. Great point, Pub Lord. Tomer, like that is basically talking about what we're going through now.
yeah, yeah, no, it was like it of all of the prophetic science fiction books. I actually think that The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, even though it was written as a joke, as a comedy, particularly the first book of the trilogy made of 4 books and 5 at the end, was the most prophetic of all the books. Sure, you've got Brave New World, and you've got Star Trek, and you've got all these other, you've got Foundation, you've got Arthur C. Clarke's books and
Bro,
everything.
Tomer,
But
post about this. Post about
this one is
this.
like
Yeah.
it envisioned a pocket sized calculator looking device that had all the world's information, all the galaxies information in it, and at your fingertips. That's like the
That's
iPhone. he,
incredible.
he envisioned it, and but it's humorous because the other thing that he envisioned would that all the information in the universe would be overwhelming, that we would still be stupid even if we had all this technology, and yes, and there would still be bureaucracy even when we met aliens. They weren't all like all the aliens were like Vulcans in Star Trek. They were wise and logical and emotionless. They were actually stupid and bureaucratic and prone to error and drunks and everything. So that's what makes Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy such a great
Wow.
and fun novel. And it is short. I bet you if you get the
I'm gonna do
audiobook,
it.
it's
I'm
not
gonna
more than
do it.
three and a half
Tomer, I'm
hours
gonna read
long.
it. I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
And Tomer, you should post about this, about how that is the most prophetic sci-fi book. That's
I
very
did do a
interesting.
podcast on it once a couple of years ago, but like this is one of the things is like it's only the edge of our. There's a recency bias to everything that we do. Like I've written a lot of really good essays in my view,
Hmm.
but I've written them a few years ago, and so it's only when the topic comes back up again that I'm able to promote them back to the recency. People don't revisit stuff. They're like, oh, I want to know what's happened, in the last 20 minutes. So there's this very strong recency bias right now, which I think is also a
Mm.
flaw. It's like, well, it's not what's the big picture with AI. It's like, what's the latest model that Claude does that's going to blow your mind? And that's what you read people say. Like this is what I see. What I see is this just dropped and it changes everything. Right? It's that kind of thing.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
so much of
but
that.
it is.
So
But
much
Okay,
of
here's
that
that's
the
on there.
no,
slop,
no, no.
right?
Is
That's
that
the
slop?
slop.
Is it slop, or is it the fact that we're accelerating here and every point is the best ever, just like every vibe sesh
But I
is
don't
the
I
best
don't
ever?
think like I think that there's a lot of phoniness in those claims, right? It's like okay, so just show me this amazing thing that it's done, not tell me how amazing it is. Show me how amazing it is. And like my experience with a lot of people who use the stuff that Brandon was talking about up front is like people are getting kind of 80% of the way. I have a friend who showed me a game that he made where you can bet satoshis and compete against somebody else, but it's buggy and this and that and the other. He can't get it to production readiness. I have a bunch of friends who've started creating things and it's been wiped out by Claude and whatnot. I was on Spaces earlier today where Fred Krueger was talking about his use of it. He said that he's come a really long way, but he can't really show us anything yet. So it's like I used to be in IT as part of my businessman thing, and one of the funniest lines that I ever heard, and I've used it over and over, and you can change the number from 80 to 90 or even 99, but it said like in IT projects, the first 80% of the work takes about 80% of the time, and the last 20% takes the other 80% of the time. And I think that phenomenon is, and you could do it. It works even better with 90, and it's more accurate a lot of the time. But it's like, I think, I think that there's a sense that you get very far very quickly, but the act of producing working software, shippable software, is has always been misleading. It's always been the
Mm.
case that it looks like you get very far very quickly, but the amount of things that you have to do, bugs you have to find, edge cases you have to fix, testing you have to do, figuring out what bugs you have when the quality assurance department becomes real life users. All that stuff is more work than having the idea and prototyping it.
Tomer, it's coming though. It's coming. But let's go to V
Coming.
Huddle. V Huddle, you've been waiting patiently. Feel free to riff as long as you want. What do you got for us?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is a cool chat. I'm enjoying what Tom has been saying, and some of the other guys earlier. Publord's got it bang on as well about how AI, how it's testing us and pushing us, but at the same time, the warnings are all there. I think we do have to be careful. I think I've spoken about this a few times about how we need to be careful about the use of AI, and Tom has bang on about how we're entering into an age where we don't really know what the results of using it too much are going to be. And there's some interesting posts today actually on the timeline about how I think it was Peter McCormack's show. I need to watch the episode, but there was a guy on there recently called Marco, I think, who was talking about how all this data has been accumulated and it's all going into a black hole to be used by someone, and someone owns it. All this personal information we're sharing with AI, and it's just something we have to be careful about. So, yeah, but that said, that's the negative side. I'm actually quite an optimist about AI. I use AI quite a lot. I use it for my own projects. I use it every single day. Personally, I think there's like a middle ground here. I think you can be both aware of the threats of AI, which is exactly the things that Toma and Publord are talking about, because I personally respect the craft of writing a good novel or writing a good article, like as Nick has described, and the whole idea of a first draft being terrible resonates very much with me. And the way you have to go through maybe like 10, 20 times over months sometimes to get it right. And you come back to it after a few weeks away on holiday and you're like, how did I come up with that piece of crap? But that's the craft, right? But at the same time, you can still see AI as a really, really good tool. So I do think there's a middle ground here, and it's very easy in this age of extremes to see both the extreme negative and the extreme positive of AI. And just one analogy I was thinking of while Toma was speaking just there was I like to see AI as like just purely a technology to give me the most like neutral view of where this thing is going. Like if we forget about the emotion of authenticity or how authentic something might be, or whether we're real or not in what we determine and create with AI, like at its core, it's just a technology. So what do technologies do? And basically what technologies do is they just change the whole landscape in a split second, that actually humans take a much longer period to understand that the landscape has changed, because we have to interpret the landscape and then realize it's changed, if that makes sense. So
Oh,
I enjoy military history, so I like to think of things in military topics quite a lot. But like one is like, if you look at the invention of the longbow, for instance, right? So in the Battle of Agincourt, the English longbowmen defeated the French heavy armored knights because the heavy armored knights were ineffective against this new technology, the longbow, which decentralized power and enabled all the peasant farmers to basically kill hundreds and hundreds of very well trained, very rich, very well armored French knights in the mud and the rain. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, where's the link here? But like, there's a clear link in that AI is democratizing the ability to use intelligence at scale in the same way the longbow democratized the ability to apply force at scale. And we're no longer in these fancy castles anymore where all the rich have access to all the information and won't allow it to be used by anyone else. AI is literally allowing the entire world to tap into all of the information at the global fingertips. That anything that's ever been recorded in human history is now available for you to use right now, right here, maybe for a premium subscription of $20 a month. And what happened with the French knights is they accused the British longbowmen of essentially being cheats. They said it's not gentlemanly. You're killing us in a way that we don't approve of. That's ungentlemanly. It's unknightly. You slaughtered us on the battlefield, but it's not fair. And who cares if it's fair or not? The English basically laughed back and said, "Well, we won the battle. You lost, guys." And I think we're seeing something similar here with the growth of
V Huddle,
AI.
I got a question for you.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, have you
You
ever
go.
been married? Have you been married before? Yeah, they don't forget anything. It's not a fair fight. Once you get married, that fight, fuck, that shit was over 8 years ago, dude. You're just learning
Yeah.
about it now. Okay, this is what being. Oh, hey, sweet Biddy, I know you're listening there. Don't listen to this. But yeah, you're right, man. The technology changes the game, doesn't it? This long bow, man, you got to better have a strong arm to pull it back. But here we are. This is the world you live in. Have a strong bow.
That's exactly a good point, Pubby. This is what I'm saying. The English longbowman, to use the tool of the longbow, a powerful tool, you had to know how to use it, but you could be trained extremely quickly. Basically, a man who worked in the field plowing turnips every day could spend an afternoon with a master longbowman and be able to kill French knights the next week. That's democratization of violence. And what we're seeing with AI is democratization of intelligence on the same scale. And the French knights of the world don't like it because essentially it enables anyone with a keyboard to tap into something powerful. But it's still a tool. You still have to be able to use it. And we're seeing so many poor shots right now, to use the arrow analogy, of arrows missing their target. But when people get good at using the longbow, which they will, then the new tool of the age will be used by everyone. And we're so early right now. We just haven't seen all the crack shots emerge.
That's really well said, Viho.
Great points,
Thank you.
man.
Unbelievable. Who wants to
Incredible take,
answer?
dude.
That was unbelievable. Oh
We're
my gosh.
I,
I'm gonna leave on that high. Nice talking to you guys again. Have a good night.
yeah, take
You
care,
too,
Tomer.
Tomer.
Tomer, we
Yeah.
love you,
Later.
Tomer.
Amazing.
I
Cheers.
think via huddle that hits on the point that we're going to be moving from a status economy to output economy. It's really just going to be on what you deliver and like democratizing this intelligence across. Brandon brought up like other countries and places where they haven't had access to developers. Now they can just create things at their fingertips. They didn't have the money to pay for developers to build out their dreams. Now they just have access to a model that can build it for the cheap, and it just levels the playing field and changes everything. And yeah, we're going to have an output economy. What can you deliver instead of like a status? What have you like done for your portfolio? And yeah, it's really interesting to see.
Absolutely. And I think someone made the really good point earlier about what will emerge out of third world economies. This is exactly what's going to happen. I mean, there are walled gardens here right now with the AI companies, but we're very quickly seeing, you saw it with China, for example, how they created the DeepSeek model basically on the back of a fag packet
Hmm.
by hacking into ChatGPT and Western models. And they did that very quickly. Once you democratize a technology, it proliferates extremely quickly. And before long, you're going to see some incredible stuff coming out of third world countries where they're going to have locally hosted LLMs, and they're going to be able to produce technologies and ideas and business
Hmm.
models. They're going to break Western models apart because, like it or not, in the West, we are in the walled garden right now. We're the ones under threat in our Western countries. We're sitting pretty right now, but the people are at the gates and they have the longbows and they're going to start being more
Hey,
accurate every
I
single
got
decade.
my I got my Alibaba local model going. What you talking about, man?
Damn, he's already ahead of the
No,
game.
Alibaba.
but really, via
Damn,
huddle,
Alibaba.
you hit the nail on the head. There's competition heating up around the world, and you got to be on your toes, looking out. I mean, you also just don't want to be a laggard. Like, just pay attention. But we're so early. If you are here right now listening to these conversations, like, you're on the cutting edge, and yeah, you're not going to fall behind.
100%, dude. I, yeah, V-Huddle, that analogy was amazing. I think it just landed so well
Mm-hmm.
articulated. And yeah, dude, these fucking tools, they're here to stay. It's this new powerful weapon. You might as well learn how to use it. Like you have to learn, and like what Pub Lord was saying is like you still have to have that strong arm to pull that bow back, right?
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
And
I love
so,
that.
and
Yeah.
that's where
Ooh.
you have to develop yourself as a person, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you have to become lethal, like on your own, be a human weapon, and
Mm-hmm.
understand yourself, understand your shadow, integrate the bad and understand yourself fully, and then get using AI, understand its strengths, understand its limitations, and how fast it evolves. And it's going to be volatile, right? People are talking about some of these models, they they use it really well, and then there's some update made, and they're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, this is not as good as it was last week, and then it goes back and forth. And it's just, dude, yeah, we got to learn to use this weapon, and especially as Bitcoiners, like it's important. Like we need to take up arms, and we need to be on this decentralized front and use this for
Mm.
good.
Turbine, I've done the work and I've got a strong arm. So I'm using the AI longbow very consciously and correctly. Is that what you're saying, Turbine?
I think you are, dude. I think you are. I think, some people may disagree with how you use it, or don't understand how you're using it. And again, I think everybody needs to go experiment with it themselves and really fucking, steel man these AI models and tools. And then only then can you really, make a point of how good or bad, one thinks it is. And I'm trying to do the fucking same. I mean, I've made some amazing progress with my business and the shit that I'm doing with AI, and it's absolutely like mind blowing. But again, I'm using all of the shit that I know that I've learned through my human experience with this shit, and it's like I'm still ultimately giving the green light on some of this stuff. But a lot of it is just, it's the shit I don't want to do anyways, and I'm not claiming anything otherwise, right?
David
As it,
Goggins, you have to do it. If you don't like it, you still do it, Turbine. Get David Goggins, bro. Everything
that's
David
right, bro.
Goggins.
Everything David Goggins. I don't know if you want to go that extreme. I don't know who's all read his books. I've read both of his, which are both phenomenal, by the way, in terms of
Wow.
mental health.
You read both books? Holy shit. That's
Dude,
amazing.
he's a machine, dude. The control Goggins has over his mind, body, and spirit is unbelievable. I mean, he's an icon.
Let's go to Gen X BTC and then Dr. Incognito. Go ahead, Gen BTC. Gen X
Gentlemen.
BTC.
Hey,
Uh,
hello. So I see
hello,
that
Viking.
the dunking on Brune is over. Um,
It's over, bro. You can speak now.
or at least you thought it was, because I'm about to rip.
Damn.
No, I'm
Damn,
just kidding,
bro.
dude.
I can't take it, bro. Not from
No, I'm
you.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hey, I just want to mention, I was talking with some high school kids about this, about the access, and you guys were kind of talking about this, like third world countries and stuff, and more about, yeah, the access that how many Elons could you have had? Just for example, whether you
Mm.
like them or hate them, how
Hmm.
many more Elons could you have within, let's say,
Holy
one
shit.
generation, if you had people just with, let's say, 20% more people on the earth with access to information or something that could be actionable for them, just because of the access. So I think it's going to be more than 20%. And I do agree that there is a balance. I think it was V Hodl was talking about this. I think it's a balance. Like, we've never, I have this analogy of like resistance is futile from the board. Um, but I think it's a balance too of what this is still very new for us, kind of like Bitcoin. We've never known anything like this. We're still trying to, you know, wrap this around our minds about the applications, and it's always going to kick off hard. We're going to throw out some crap. The free market is going to decide what is valuable, what is not. I think that there'll be a premium for listening to a live musician who plays an actual instrument. But that's not to say that I think that people that I'm just picking music, for example, that you still need an input to get something. If I think you're going to have some value, like a human did craft, it's just that this is a different paintbrush. So I'm bullish on the access, the ideation. There's so many uses that I think it's a bit unfair to say that because of this new capability that available to people that it's all junk. Like when I hear AI slop, I think a lot of people are casting a very wide net, forgetting that there is a artist, there is a painter holding a different type of brush, perhaps than you've ever known, and it's not all the same. So yeah, that I try and wrap my head around, like what are the implications of just the access to that information. I'm super bullish.
Bro, Gen X, but do you think there really will be a premium for humans? Because in the AI world, if everything, the good scenario, right, where everything comes down, prices comes down, people, the Elon vision of we're going to be richer than the richest billionaire in this AI world. He's super optimistic, right? Like in that world, everybody's going to have time, so everybody's going to pursue their real passion, so you're going to have a gazillion musicians. So what premium are we talking about? I feel like you're not going to get a premium. It will be the exact reverse, because now people will have time to truly pursue their artistic interests, for example. So you'll have more amazing singers, and you can only have so many amazing singers. No, so what premium are you talking about?
Is that what you would say? Hey, how about did you see
He knows my mannerisms. He's a vibe samurai.
so 2 movies, just from a conceptual standpoint. One is Time. I think that was the name. And where everybody had basically a limited amount of time,
Oh yeah,
and you could
Justin
buy,
Timberlake.
yeah, you
Justin
could buy
Timberlake.
credits.
Yeah.
So how many things are you going to be able to master? Let's just give the expected, human life. Let's say it's 100 years for the next, 200 years, or probably less. But knowing that you have a fixed amount of time, I think that there's going to be, of course, haves and have-nots, and the haves are going to pay a premium for the thing that isn't so easy for them to access. Everything else that they have access to, or that they enjoy or use, is very commoditized, and it's going to be difficult to find a pianist to sit there and play a song in front of you. And that's what I think will be a premium for those that can't afford it. It won't be for the little people. The other one is Gattaca. Maybe similar. You're going to have 2 different types of classes, major classes, and people are going to appreciate things about that lower class, if you will, or less access class that you just cannot replace with money.
I don't. I remember watching it, but I don't remember this part. Explain that part. How did that work in terms of finding something from the poor people or the lower class that they needed, the higher class? What's some examples?
Man, you called me out. I don't remember the movie. It was a long time ago. There was something about the innovation and the creativity that people went through to try and get access to that higher class. I think it was like I think it was like they would scan your eyeball or something. I think that was it. And so you had a black market of people that would basically, it was like eyeballs inside of a jar, and there was a surgery that you could get. It was really, really difficult, and I think this comes from history of like people from you know Korea trying to cross a river, to China, and how they were perceived. That basically the creativity and the hunger from the human spirit would find a way to innovate, to get access to this upper echelon that they were basically restricted from. That's one of them.
Damn. Let's go to Dr. Incognito. This is the first time on the Vibe Samurai stage. Tell us about you. Welcome to the stage.
I gotta come back and turn the mic on. You here?
Yes,
What do you want to
sir.
know? I'm in a Twitter space right now, Mr. Dennis. All right, I was talking to someone else. What do you want to know?
Dr. Incognito, so you've been listening in. What do you think so far? You jumped on
Oh
stage. No.
yes, yeah. As far as the music thing goes, I make music. That's what this profile is. As far as the piano, yeah, AI doesn't really do the same. Yeah, he don't want to hear about AI, so I'm just gonna mute myself and let y'all talk.
All
Let's
right,
hear.
welcome back. Oh, go ahead. Sorry about
Let's see what Dare Vice. He's been over there. Been chilling. What's your thoughts, brother?
I think he might be gone now.
All right, let's go to Nick. Nick, you're welcome back to the stage, brother. Are you here to put me in the hot seat some more, or
Dude,
what?
was that too much? You know what happens?
No, it's never too much.
Thank you, dude. I'll be, I don't know, vulnerable, authentic, whatever. I get into these flows and I feel like I'm almost channeling something. And I spent most of my life, like when that would start to happen, it would scare me. And I'd be like, dude, it's going to be too much. You're going to piss people off. They're going to think some type of way about you. And I don't know what happened, like mid 30s, I just said, I'm not spending the rest of my life not letting that happen. So I just sometimes get a stream of consciousness downloaded and all just fucking vomits out of my mouth. And then sometimes I got to go back and like, clarify. But I hope you felt the energy behind what I was saying.
Bro, I
Like,
always do. Always appreciate your thoughts, really.
because it really is a like I want us all to win, dude. Like I'm pretty fucking invested in you at this point. We've been talking
Yeah,
for months at this
I
point.
feel
I'm
it,
like,
bro.
I want the best out of Bruin. I want the best out of Nick. I want the best out of Slico and Seven Vine and all you guys. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Bruni?
Hey, but Nick, tell me something. You used a very interesting word. You said you were channeling yourself as, because I've been meeting some people lately. It's very weird. With feel like there truly is an awakening and synchronicities. I'm meeting all kinds of fucking people talking about transurfing reality and pendulums and Akarashi records and all kinds of crazy stuff. But like channeling is another thing. Like I met some guy who said that he tried to get into some channeling school and he got rejected. Like so I've been like learning about channeling. Well, so, do you know anything about channeling?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
I don't have any like special like if you looked it up on YouTube's sort of stuff, but I don't know, channeling as a metaphor is something that's very interesting to me. So my guru, who I've brought up before here, Paul Hederman, zenbitchlab.com, he does a weekly meeting, a song, which I know you remember that. He did a post about it, Gathering in Truth, and he sits down and he'll say channeling, he'll say download or whatever, but the way that he talks about it's been really interesting to me and even cooler to observe that he always says when he shows up, he calls it the message, just to like give it the most simple term possible. It can kind of sound kind of pretentious or whatever, but he just says the message comes through him, right? And he has this very real visceral experience of, his name's Paul. He's like, it's not Paul talking. Like I can't take credit for any of the stuff that's coming out of my mouth. Like my job is to get out of the way and allow the message to come through. And you do see, like you see his eyes change, you hear sort of his voice change, and you know when the message is coming through. And then when he's done, we like just hang out and drink coffee and bullshit afterwards. And then like his eyes change back, his voice changes back, and he's back to just being Paul, right? And it'll be interesting because sometimes so he speaks on non-duality, and the sort of esoteric spiritual stuff, and you'll see sometimes people will ask him a question when we're like hanging out at the coffee shop, and it'll trigger him back into that other mode of like the download or the channeling, and I always see the shift in his eyes. So that's sort of like that. He's my mentor. He's like someone I look up to, and
mm,
I've felt at times like it's very clear to me Nick isn't talking at this point, and I fucking love that because I'm sick and tired of Nick. I've had 36 years of Nick and Nick's thoughts and Nick's fucking words, and like you know what I mean. Like I'm down with letting anything else through,
mm,
because when it does, like I surprise myself often. I could go on about on the writing side of things too. Like when I'm really in the zone writing, it probably only happens 5 to 10%
mm.
of the time. I'll write something where I'm just like, what the fuck? That is like so
Wow.
clearly didn't come from me. It came from somewhere else, but it came out of these fingertips, right? which is
Nick,
a cool
but
feeling.
like when you're talking to me, then you're in flow. Let's call it flow, Nick. So flow, Nick was talking to me.
Only my wife's allowed to call me Flo Nick.
It just came to me, bro. It's so
Bruh.
natural. It's flow, Nick, bro.
I guess it was Flo Nick. I don't know, right? The hints that I get that it was more of a channel than a like Nick the personality ego talking is I don't remember anything I said. I remember the feeling
Bro, I feel
as it
this
was all.
way. Bro, I've been like, I was hosting on another language app. And so that's where I started first hosting. And then eventually I started hosting on X. But in all those cases, I lose myself. Bruno is not there. We're like right now, Bruno's not there. It's a
We can
You're
very
not
tell.
home
interesting.
We
right
can
now,
tell.
bro?
No, I'm
Lose
not.
yourself.
And I forget. I don't remember any vibe sesh. Like I don't remember people sometimes. I'm. But every time, and then somebody would come up on stage on this other language app, and they would be like, "Hey, man, do you remember me?" I was like, "No, sorry, man, I don't remember you." Oh, we talked like 2 months ago, and you remember this, and then I was just boom, 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 and it's just flow. Bruno is there, and we just be connecting as if like I remembered him, but I don't remember anything before that. And after this conversation, I'm not going to remember anything I said to you guys. So I resonate with you, Nick.
Dude, I have a little story about that. The like getting in the flow state and it's writing in this case. The last time my wife was in Mongolia, which I'm going to Mongolia in 2 weeks, by the way. I haven't told you
Damn.
guys about that.
You going to have some
I'm
Mongolian beef?
dude, that's Chinese, you racist bastard. All right. The Chinese created Mongolian beef. It's not authentic Mongolian food.
Really?
Uh, yes, dude. And Mongolian barbecue that you go and you put all the frozen meat and shit together and they cook it for you. That's the Chinese too. Mongolian beef and Mongolian barbecue is a Chinese American invention. You all are more informed. You're welcome. Um, okay, here's the whole story on this. This is just me bragging, but fuck it. I love you guys, and
Brag
hopefully
it.
this
Brag
will
it.
like
Go.
okay, and hopefully this will like inspire you to maybe follow your dreams too. So I followed my dreams. Make it short. Got a bunch of ghostwriting clients. Now one of my ghostwriting clients 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago yesterday. Goes, hey, I'm doing a keynote speech in Macau. I think I'm saying that right. Is it Macau or Macau? Anyone
Macau.
familiar?
Macau.
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 Okay, doing a keynote speech in Macau. I'm going there in like 2 weeks. I should really learn how to say it right. Um, do you want to go out there and film me? And I'm like, dude, I'm like not even a professional videographer or photographer. He's like, yeah, I know, but it's like better than nothing. And to be honest, I'm gonna go over there and I don't have anyone to hang out with. And we've hung out in person plenty of times and we like really get along. We've partied and shit. And he's like, do you want to go out there and film me? I'll pay for your flight there and back. You can stay in this badass hotel that I'm giving the keynote at, which is it's by Wynn, the guy that did the Bellagio in Vegas. So it's like an even bigger Bellagio
Whoa. The
with a
win in the
bigger water.
Macau. Wow.
Yeah, we're going to the Wynn in Macau. So I said, dude, I really would love to, but my wife is going to kill me if the first time I go to Asia is without her. And he goes, cool.
Ah!
He,
Love
I
me
mean,
long time.
I could get in a lot of trouble there. And the dog might come out. And he goes, cool. I'll pay for her ticket too. I was like, oh shit. So anyway, this the way this all came together is he's flying us out there to Hong Kong. We're flying into Hong Kong. Go 30-minute drive to Macau, staying in the fucking badass hotel. We're gonna work for like 2 days, filming him and capturing shit for social media. And then the last day we're hanging out in Hong Kong, which I've never been to. I've never even been to Asia, but I've heard Hong Kong's one of the coolest places to hang out in the world,
Yeah, it's
especially at
amazing.
night. You been there?
Yeah, it's
Dude,
amazing.
DM me some good places to hit up
I
and
will
eat and
actually.
whatever.
Hmm.
And then the next day we're flying up to Mongolia. I'm finally, after being married for 2 years, gonna see her homeland, meet her family, and yeah, this is like fuck. This is like a one of those. I feel like my life's a simulation. The way all this shit came together. Um,
Wow, first time in Mongolia, even though you're married to a Mongolian woman. So this is the first
yeah,
first time
yeah.
you're meeting her family.
First time I'm meeting her family in person. I've
Ooh.
talked with them over FaceTime for hours and hours, but and some of her family came and stayed with us once. Her aunt, who she's very close to. And like her cousins and stuff. But I'm meeting mom and grandma for the first time in person. So very exciting. It's gonna be cool, meaningful, all that shit. So go ahead.
Nick, so you feel like you said that you feel like it's a simulation. You really do. You well, what do you think is going on? I mean, you're so happy and positive and deep, and really, I really appreciate when Flow Nick shows up. I know it sounds like I am being put on the hot seat, but it's okay. You do it in such a respectful and understanding, and I really feel like you care. Like I really feel like when you're in Flow Nick and you're telling me stuff, I'm really receiving it well. I think about it the next day. I actually go to the spaces and replay when Nick was in Nick Flow, and so I really appreciate it. Don't stop. But yeah, tell us about the simulation thing, man. You feel like it's a simulation. What do you mean by that?
Dude, so you guys know the Duncan Trussell story. And I know none of you went and actually watched the podcast because I talked about this with him in my second podcast with him. So I opened up the podcast with, so he did Joe Rogan's 2000th episode, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, he did his 2000th episode on like a Monday, and then he did my podcast on a Thursday, right?
Bro,
So
so you got
I know
another
it's insane.
podcast with that guy? That
I've done two with Duncan. Yeah.
wow.
So the second time was after he had just done Rogan's 2000th episode. I think it's 2000th episode. And I started off with, okay, so I saw you. That was when, if anyone's seen that one, they were dressed up in furry costumes. So Duncan was in a meow meow costume, and Rogan was in like a dog costume, and they ended up taking the helmets off a few minutes in because they were so sweaty. So I started off the episode going, so I saw you on Rogan's 2000 episode in the Meow Meow costume on Monday, and now I'm podcasting with you on Thursday. So this is absolute confirmation that I'm living in a simulation. Like, this is so insane, the things that have happened in my life. Now, I am in a place now where I, these amazing magical things happen and it feels so much like a simulation, but I do also feel like I paid like 32 years of insane suffering and like heartache and depression and like wanting to give it all up to get to that point. So I mean, if you're designing a simulation, I would, if the simulation was designed for this character Nick and it just made it amazing from day one, like I wouldn't be this happy. I wouldn't enjoy it this much 'cause I don't have anything to compare it to. Like I was married in a terrible fucking relationship, really bad. I don't want to say too much because like this is recorded and maybe someday my daughters can come across it, but it's like violent, horrible. Like I'm lucky I'm alive. If I would have stayed with my ex-wife, one of us was probably not going to make it. One of us was going to die. So the fact that I went through that and now I'm in a marriage with the most loving, feminine, fucking like unimaginable woman ever, like because of that contrast, it makes me never take it for granted. It makes me like, cherish every moment and all of that. So that's my I'm coming back down out of that weird flow I was just in because it didn't land anywhere. But yeah, man, I think I do believe we're in some sort of a simulation. And what I was to tie it a little bit back into what I was saying earlier about like doing the David Goggins thing, doing the hard thing. The one thing I'm utterly convinced of in life is if you struggle and you like choose the hard thing and you choose to suffer within reason without being a sadomasochist, something about the universe, God, the simulation rewards you on the other side of it with something. It'll never be what you want. It'll never be in the way that your ego or your personality wants it to, but life will give you something that's equivalent to the sacrifice and the hard work and the suffering. So anyway, go to somebody else. I'm done talking.
Cisco, what's the vibe?
I don't know, gents. Should we land the plane there, or
That was amazing.
Nick? We appreciate you so much, man. You contribute a lot.
I appreciate you guys, man. There's
You're,
not too many
you're
spaces I can fucking ramble like this. So
I feel like you go to a lot
thank
of
you for holding us
spaces,
together.
Nick. Nick, I feel like you ramble in a lot of spaces, bro. What are you talking
But
about?
not like here. I don't know. There's
Ah,
a
we're
very
special.
broy vibe here.
You think
So
it's broy? Because people tell me I have both the masculine and feminine side, and I have a nice yin yang. Really, that's what they said to me last vibe session, Nick. They said I have like a really nice feminine side.
Bro, it's interesting. We've really had like the full range on here because we've had spaces where we get Sirius and Parabolic and Sweet Biddy and Nicole and Elizabeth, and it's like it's like a woman takeover. And then yeah, we got other times where it's just totally bros just broing, and I don't know, I love having both, right? It's different flavors.
Turbine and Cisco, what do you think? We got to Vibe Sesh 36. A lot has
Turbine
happened.
likes different flavors of bros. Let's remember that, guys.
Oh, come on now, Nick.
Yeah,
Damn it.
see, you Gen Zs, you like calling everything gay, but you're gay, Turbine. I'm telling you, bro. You should explore
Bro,
that,
I'm not
bro.
on TikTok, bro. I'm not on TikTok.
Got
Bro,
him.
All right?
that ain't
It's
gay.
written.
Cisco's on TikTok. So you're telling me Cisco's gay?
I'm
Well, he's
exploring.
double gay because he's
I'm
Gen Z and
exploring.
TikTok, dude.
Oh, you're double gay, bro. Bro, he just called you double gay.
You guys know I'm always just memeing. I don't give a fuck.
Bro,
Like,
you know what I love about Vibe Session? We could retard max, and then we could go deep. I mean, that really is because there's other spaces that are very deep. I've been to a lot of interesting spaces,
That's
but
what she
then
said.
Is that the definition of vibe sesh?
you tell us the definition of Vibe Session, Brandon.
Threading presence. No, what you just said.
Brandon, sleepy boy.
Go ahead, sleepy boy.
All right, Gen X got his hand up.
I
Go
can wait for
ahead,
Brandon.
lacrosse coach. Go ahead, lacrosse coach. How's that going?
I wanted to take it back for a moment, but I can wait for Brandon if he wants to do it.
No. Brandon's always like
No,
this.
what up, Gen Z?
Go ahead,
And
Brandon.
X.
All right, I'm getting confused here. Gen X, go ahead.
All right. This is back to the AI topic. There's something I wanted to mention. Two things real quick. I don't know if you guys saw the NVIDIA keynote, Jensen Wang.
AGI?
There's,
AGI?
yeah. I would watch that if you're in it, or especially if you're in it and you've already messed with Claude Claw, or you use LLMs to some degree. I could give just a crash course. He basically outlines to me they have a thing called Nemo Claw. It's not new. I guess this is like version 3 or something like that. And we know of Claude Claw, still very new. Sorry, I keep fucking saying that, and I keep telling people to stop calling it fucking Claude Claw. Open Claw.
Bro, everybody's
That,
so confused about this fucking name. Everybody goes
yeah.
through. It's so
And
annoying.
I think I understand why, but that's a separate thing. It's basically, so if we open clause, we know it. It's very black box to a lot of people, and people have gotten very quick results. It's a mix for their own use. Sometimes it's getting people to a point really quickly, as you guys know, in software development, where it gets somebody really far, they're really excited, but you push that shit to production, good luck. Like, it depends on the case that you're using it for. But in that keynote, they basically have like a walled garden version of OpenClaw that I think is going to be a big game changer. Think of it as like a safe version of OpenClaw that's kind of curated. It's made to be extensible, vertically scalable. That will be a standard for a lot of business types that they'll use. If you think about like a SAP or e-commerce, platform. I don't know if you guys are into that. ServiceNow, even some of the CDNs. That this, I think, is going to be a very impactful thing of how they're using it. Anyway, keynote from Jensen Wang, NVIDIA. It's like the last, I think, 20 or 30 minutes of it. I definitely recommend looking at it. There's pictures and all that shit. In relation to that, I've been a developer most of my career, and these new tools did reinvigorate my desire, and I do feel like I have an advantage over other people. Not always. In some respects, it's like a musician who is classically trained, which I was too. But the person who wasn't doesn't know that there's a ceiling, and there's some things that they're going to do that I just can't conceive. But I'm actually working on something now where it's a site and I want to build it the way that I want to build it, but I can't because I need to pass it off to somebody else that's going to work within this walled garden type framework that I know that they're going to be able to maintain beyond me. That's, I think, a case that's not always considered, is that sometimes you have to build something with outside of the capability of what I know that I can do. It's about what does somebody a year from now, what competency, what technical proficiency do they need to have to keep this going for this customer, let's say. Because I want to do it my own way, but I can't. I have to use a particular framework. So I don't know if that's helpful.
But Gen X, so what do you mean by it's invigorating your like passion and desire for coding or creating? Because I do feel I talk to a lot of developers and you know there's definitely an existential crisis going on. There's a lot of developers that are not accepting AI. Hey, my code is high quality. AI is bullshit. AI slop in coding. But then there's other developers that are aware. They're like, bro, nobody cares about the fucking quality of your code as long as it works and we make money. The business side makes money. As long as it works, we're good. Like you're too overly focused with, so there's like this whole existential thing. And then there's also guys who are embracing it. They're like, well, I have to embrace it. Otherwise I'm going to be obsolete kind of thing. And also a lot of these guys that are using agents, developers that are using agents, they're like, bro, I'm working even more than I did before. At least before, I was just coding, and when I'm coding, I'm in flow. I have my time. But now I'm working with like 10 different agents, and these agents are so fast that I have to like switch back and forth, multitask different things, and I'm more exhausted than before. Like, so what are you hearing within the developer world? It seems to be like all over the place, but two different camps. But what are you seeing in terms of the existential side?
Sure. So quick context. When I started, we'd used frame sets. I forgot what version of HTML that was. Not that that's a language, that's a whole battle in itself. But sharing your code in open source was not a thing. This is, late 90s, like 99. And open source became more of a thing. It had been, but not in all aspects of development. And it used to be that people thought that they were building God's gift of the internet. And they would, if you even walked by and looked at their screen, they would get pissed off, like you're going to take something from them. Well, we transitioned into this. People want to share because they want more efficiencies. They want to be able to, use a component that somebody else built and not have to reinvent it. This came from, a lot of it is just, the market and demand and competition of can you produce more with less? And that got abused, I think, by the demands of business. If you look at some of the jobs now, they're asking for, 3 different specialties, like serious major categoric technical specialties within one role. And developers and other industries have been, now it's to where like they're just desperate to stay in competition. They are desperate to find every efficiency they can so they can retain, their role. But I think it also, in some respects, it kills as a developer, you're using a language. Like if I looked at code, I could tell you between 2 different people which one wrote it. That is not the case when you use AI as much, unless I knew what MD file or context you used.
Wow. So you're saying like a human leaves their human traces, but you're
Yes.
saying when you're wait. So you can't tell if it's like Opus 4.0 or whatever, the cloud one? Like you can't tell between the different models? I
I
bet you can
can't.
tell the coding. You can't tell the code. So you wouldn't be able to tell me, like, if I give you a pizza file, I said AI did this. Is it Codex or is it Opus? You wouldn't be able to, because I heard there's a battle that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could. I just, perhaps it's just me that can't tell the difference because I haven't looked at enough code comparing the two. But this, when you coding is like a language. You and I have a different, we're using the same English language, but we're choosing different words to articulate our point. That is different. That's the case with development as well. But the reason why you're seeing so much consistency is because what the AIs, what the models are giving you is what was popular and most, I guess, used and approved of what we built before. And this has been the case with, front end development, back end development, whatever was the most popular, it's leveraging, and that's what it's using. If you, for example, for the front end developers out there, by default, you're going to get Tailwind CSS as the CSS library to use if you build something with AI, unless you explicitly tell it to use something else. And that's because of what was popular. It's referencing what most people did. That might not be the right choice for you, though, depending on what you're doing.
Hey.
There was another part to your question. I forgot it though. Sorry.
I was just talking about the existential crisis. What do you think is going to happen with? What do you? Because a lot.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So the problem I had, and I've heard some other people express this, was that I had all these ideas, but I just didn't have a way to execute it all. There was too many roles that would need to be involved. And I think that's obvious to most of you. But now I actually have the access. My problem now is that I have a bunch of ideas. I have a heavy ability to execute. Now I'm struggling on which idea is most prominent for the time that I'm going to actually, build. I'm super bullish. Like, I think that there's some things that are difficult for us to fathom that people create, especially that point earlier about with the number of people that you have access to. You're open sourcing not just what was built before, but you're open sourcing almost in real time what all the new people come up with. Now, there's a drawback too, because
Yeah,
the
it's
new
real
people,
time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the new people are also heavily influenced. Like, if you didn't code before, you don't know that necessarily there's a variation of tools for, let's say, styling of a website. You know the one that it gave you. Now, still powerful, but just the fact that that many people have that access and you're open sourcing that higher percentage, I'm excited to see what people come up with. But this isn't just about building. This is about,
right,
as you, I'm sure, know, ideation. Something just to knowing that it's going to use the context of what was popular, what people did, at least in the recorded past of the context that the LLM has. You're going to know what was popular. So you get a lot of best practices. There's a huge efficiency in that, but maybe a little bit of a drawback is that now you're being less creative. I don't know. It's kind of subjective depending on what you're talking about.
Wow. But, like this idea between you and Brandon from before, I've never thought about it that way, that because of these AI tools and the accessibility, and that all these third world countries have access to it, it's leveled the playing field. I mean, like, wow. And you give these tools to everybody in the world. I mean, because like when you look at China, like they've done such great things, and one of the reasons is they have 1 billion people. They've set up the incentive structure where everybody's just competing with each other. The municipalities are competing with each other. Everybody's competing with each other, and because of this, like they're creating great things as a collective, right? And so apply that with AI enabling that, right? There's things like in the Chinese culture that's causing that, but like just the technology itself being pervasive all over the world. I'm just, it's just blowing my mind. Like I like it's just a matter of time that these amazing things are going to be created. No, is that, what do you think? Is that accurate or
Yeah,
what?
I think the market and the world is going to decide what. Yeah, you can create all the shit, but what's actually of value? The When we went from, you used to hand roll or create your own authentication for me to confirm Broom Biddy is logging in here. We don't build that anymore. Like, we massively componentized pieces of functionality. And what's happened now is that, I think this is just my theory, is that the reason why we're having such a shock now is because it was on a big scale. And now more people are just aware that these tools were there. But we've been componentizing and making more efficient things forever. It's just that this one, I
Right.
think it's a little bit more shocking because, I think some businesses, they were already had a bunch of fluff that they need to get rid of anyway. And this is their green light to do it.
Yeah, that's what's happening in the tech world, right? They did all this hiring during COVID, and so you got like double, triple whammy. You got all the bloat from COVID, and then you got the AI actually being more efficient. So it's like a double, triple whammy, right? In the Hey, so what do you think let me ask you this, Gen X. So what do you think if a young guy like Cisco, and he's doing well, he's doing his own thing, but like if you had to advise, I don't know, like a 16-year-old, and you're a lacrosse coach. What are you telling the people, the girls that you coach? Like, if they ask you, "Hey, Gen X coach Gen X, like, what do you think? This AI shit is crazy. What should I study? What should I look into?" What would you say, Gen X?
Mm. For them, it's a little bit different. But broadly, I look at this as when job listings started saying you have to be able to type 40 words per minute. I look at this as, you need to learn how to type on a keyboard. And if you don't, there's a whole lot that you're just not going to be able to have access to. When it
Just
comes to,
touch typing, you mean?
yeah,
You would recommend that they touch type? That's your
no, no, no,
advice?
no,
Oh, okay. Mhm.
no, no, no. I'm saying the in
Interactive
the
software.
yeah,
Got it.
like the fact that if you don't learn how to type on a keyboard, how to interface with a computer, I mean, look at us now. Like,
Mm.
you're gonna fall behind. There's a lot you're not gonna be able to compete on. But for them, there's a lot of things I tell with them, but they're so like, they were born with phones, at a pretty young age.
All right, all
So,
right. So tell us that. I'm curious. So somebody who's native to these kinds of phones, they have this. What would you recommend to them? What are you recommending to them? This question does this question come up? Do they say, "Coach, what do you think? This AI stuff is crazy." Like, you have any
yeah,
advice? Yeah.
I,
Mm-hmm.
there's a high percentage of them that go into the medical field, um, or at least that's what they're trying to do. And I've given some recommendations to those about, like, don't limit yourself, because you're competing on your competition is different. When you get out of school, it's going to be different from how it is now, but it's already different. And there are some technical things that will put you at an advantage if you understand them. Um, but basically, my thing to kids in general is, like, try as many things as you can. This idea of, like, I want to be an astronaut, yeah, that's great, but I think it's relevant for very few people. You need to be able to adapt and identify what you like and what you don't like, what you're good at and what you're not good at, and be honest with yourself. So it's kind of more broad, but, they're technically savvy. I think it depends on where they're at, where they're coming from. It's different now. Many more women are in the tech field than used to be, and there's some things that I think that women have shown that they really excel at, and that men, things that were dominated by men, it's hard for some people, but I think certain things women are just better at in that respect, organizationally.
Mm. Gen X. So the people that you coach are Alpha or Gen Z?
So I resigned from that just during the summer. after 7 years, but I do some private stuff. So most of the Z's are, they're already a little bit older. So yeah, it's another generation younger that works with.
Gen X. So what do you think of Gen Z and Gen Alpha? Tell us. You know them intimately. So what do you think?
I think they were coddled too much.
I told that to Cisco and Turbine today.
And look,
They're
I don't.
people pleasing. They don't enforce boundaries.
Let me say something about that. People will take that as like an attack on them. What I'm saying is the problem was your parents.
Exactly.
And
no blame on you guys.
And when I say problem, I also think that people, like, I have boomer parents. I'm in my 40s. I think it's the millennials. Millennials are pretty base. I think a lot of them, I feel like, are us
Yes.
younger Gen Xers. But
Yes.
I think Z, like, in a different way, I think about World War II and Americans straight out of high school, getting trained, crash course, getting thrown in a boat and getting shot at in another country. And like they saw some shit. And I feel like in a different way, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, like they are feeling the struggle and recognizing some things, and they're going to be more in tune and adaptable to the world without obviously they don't have the wisdom and history. How could they? But I think that they are coming in, they're having a harder time. And I think that's going to make them like David Goggins, kill your inner bitch. Like, I think I'm bullish on them.
Damn. What do you guys think, Cisco and Turbine? Go ahead.
I would like to think we're underdogs, and if we're just given the right equipment and tools, guidance, I think we can be savages. But a lot of that energy is misdirected, unfortunately. Like algorithms take your attention, so they have a lot of good energy, but
I have got the
manipulative
tools for you, and just
algorithms.
check my
Okay,
reposts, and I got a lot of bookmarks I can share with y'all too.
share one.
Cisco, you said something I want to ask you about. If we're given the right tools,
Exactly.
and I don't disagree with it, but the alpha Gen Z that I'm talking about is the one that's like, I'm not fucking waiting for somebody to give me anything. I'm going to go get it. And that's, I think, when I say I'm bullish on, those are the ones that I think are going to separate the men from the boys.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Dogs.
Turbine and Sixes don't fit in that. They're Gen Zs, but they're not the type that they need more hand holding. They're people pleasers. They want hand
I
holding.
don't need no fucking hand holding, dude. I've worked for everything I've gotten in my life, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's what you're saying. Turbine's fighting
they're,
back finally.
yeah,
well, okay, like I'm I'm older Gen Z. I'm a cusper, as we know. And yeah, dude, I think our generation, like I think we're gonna help see things that you guys as Gen X and boomers and millennials didn't see. And we're all gonna team up. And I'm already thinking steps ahead of what are the problems that Gen Alpha and dude, Gen Beta. I mean, it's in the fucking
Oh
name.
shit, we're in the beta
Gen
now.
Beta
It's in the name. It's in
plus,
the
dude.
name.
is that to denote, Turbine, that Z and Alpha are so successful that betas become betas? You set
That's
things
what
up
he's
so well.
implying. That's what he's
Yeah.
implying. That's
So
what he's implying.
they're the like, not to compare, but they are the equivalent of the older boomers.
Yeah, the
Mm,
older
Very
boomer.
well might
Look,
be.
hey,
Holy shit.
I
dude,
mean,
listen. You
in
guys have
the
seen
naming is
you guys
not
have
looking good for them.
you guys have seen videos about Gen X. No holding punches here. And just don't call me a boomer. Like, we are so different.
Gen X, tell everybody, because I'm a Gen Xer, I'm curious too. Why do you think we're so different? Why are we so cool, bro? Like, I feel like really cool. I'm 50 years old. Look how cool I am, bro. I'm doing TikToks, bro. I mean, this is Gen X shit. Like, explain what it means to be Gen X, because you seem like to be a very proud Gen X. You have it in your username. Tell us about Gen X, bro.
I can't represent all of this. But, you know, the older Gen Xers to me act like boomers, and I think every generation, if you know, we're putting these like dates on people, and it's not right. It's like, what was your influence? What struggles? What were you taught? What was the relevance of you in the world, and what challenges you had? But I think every generation, like I remember this video where it was like um, the Beatles, and looking at like how young women and boys were reacting in the crowd, and they were like, this is satanic, or you know, this is like bad for people. I'm thinking, dude, wait till you guys meet Marilyn Manson. Like, and that's fucking mild today. That
Mm.
I think the thing about millennial Gen X and millennials, and you can put some boomers in there, was that they were the transition from the first part of the transition from analog to digital. And we can replace a motor in your car, and we can write software. That's a unique, not like to have a big head about it, it's just what it is. We know both sides pretty well, and we haven't done great at setting up the youth for a more tech world, because I just don't know that we knew how to raise them in that type of environment. So I think it just comes from like that. Like Gen X was also a very rebellious one, but we weren't the first. But in relevant recent history, the boomers were too. You know, the whole anti-war thing of Vietnam, like that was a big deal. That was a uniting, cultural agnostic pushback on the government and war. And we also treated them like shit when they came back. But you know, there's other factors for that. But I think that we were the rebellion. Like we were the ones that were like, fuck you. We don't like this system. But I think that Z is going to take it another level from where we did.
Hey,
Bro,
bro.
I follow Gen X, by the way. Like, I mean, that's both of my parents, so there's bias there. But you know what, your guys' rebellious attitude, that kind of like fuck you energy. I mean, that's been passed down to me. I fucking love that you know, this is especially embedded in the Bitcoin ethos. And yeah, we're absolutely gonna take it next level, right? Like, I mean, you know, Cisco, do you know how to drive stick shift? Because like not many Gen Zs do.
No.
I do, and I like that. I've grown up with all this shit. I know how to fucking wrench on a car. I've done all this stuff, and so I really, and that's from my Gen X dad who's taught me all that shit. But I also now I'm fucking coding a digital agent AI brain, and it's insane. So it's going to be like this lethal combo that I think Gen Zs have, where we did grow up still forced to play outside. There was no electronics, and then we, you know, really for me, I think when I was 12 or 13 is when the technology really started getting embedded into everything, and so we're just gonna run with that. But no, I fucking love you guys, Gen X. You guys
No.
are.
Tell
You,
my
okay, last thing on that is like, bro, you guys, I don't even think there's going to be a Gen X president, right? Like, if we're looking at JD Vance next, like, you guys got fucked over more than any other generation.
No, bro, we don't care. See, this is the thing about like a really big part. I feel like Gen X, we sit outside this culture war bullshit, bro. You know, we're like we sit in between the boomers and the millennials, and I think we're just in general just less ideological. We're less performative. I feel like we're more authentic, and we're just more pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? We grew
A
up in
little bit
the
less
whole.
of, like a little bit less of like just so willing to support the status quo. Is that what you're saying? Okay, thumbs up there. I see. Yeah, I mean, No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I fucking love that. And we got Brandon back here now too. I don't know if when he
Oh
came
shit,
back in the
Brandon's back.
combo, but
He
dude,
couldn't resist. He couldn't resist the vibes. The vibes brought you
I
back,
couldn't.
right, Brand? Brandon, be honest.
Bro. It's totally true. This is the best space I've ever been on,
Oh my
and all
God.
this. This is it. This is it.
Bro, why do you say that? Brandon, it's very important because we like getting our egos stroked. And this is
No, you guys are great.
no, but what's
I mean,
going
this is
on?
this
Why is this the
the
best vibe
vibe.
sesh? Why?
You guys are just so positive and open-minded, and like your discussions are great. It's awesome, man. I just as soon as I pop in, I'm like, yeah, dude, exactly. Just this is a great place.
Bro, but you know what? So Brandon, you're Gen X? No, you say you're in your 40s, right?
I'm 50, so yeah, I'm Gen X.
Oh, look at that. Another Gen
Yeah.
X. Holy shit. Hey, guys, by the way, Gen X BTC, you and I don't know if V Huddle's a Gen Xer or a millennial, but like this whole AI slop stuff, I like your guys' take. It's a lot more nuanced. It's a lot more Gen X. Our take on AI slop about, look, I got you, but it's a great tool at the same time, guys. So let's not get too purist about like what's going on with writing. And I get you, you're from that time, so I'm empathetic to it. But bro, I embrace the new tech and where this is going, and I'm using these tools to express myself even better. That's how I feel. But I feel like we Gen Xers have a more nuanced take. But what do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I can't speak for other Gen Xers as far as like their propensity to adopt technology. I mean, I think it's split, of course. There's some that are into it, and there's some that are taking the Luddite route, and I respect everybody's decision. But I can definitely speak on like being a true Gen Xer, though. I mean,
Tell
it
us.
was yeah, I mean, obviously you've seen all the memes and shit, but it was a different time, like we all drank out of fucking garden hoses, and our parents kicked us. They kicked us outside, man. Like I remember trying to come into the house, and the parents were like, "What are you doing in here? What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here!" You know what I mean? Go in the woods. You
Bro,
know,
it's so
Eh,
true. Oh my God.
it's so true, bro. Right? And like the sun would go down, the lights would come on. You'd be riding your bike as fast as you could. I'm like, oh shit, the street lights are on. My mom's gonna be pissed. But that's just the way it was. Nobody had any phones. You couldn't call people. You had to call a building or a place. It's like, oh, you just had to guess. Like, well, I don't know where this person might be, and you would call a house. Like, oh, is so and so there? No, they were here, but it's like you just guess where people were. And I think we were more free when we couldn't be gotten a hold of. Um, it's really weird, how things have how we changed everything. But but at the same time too, like somebody was just saying, like the Gen X, like we don't care, we don't give a fuck, like we we lived outside the wall. I mean, true Gen Xers. Now, there's people that were born in that area and they were pampered some or whatever, and I just don't relate to that. But like everybody on my block, like we all had to fend for ourselves, and we had each other too. We had each other's back. We ran around a big group. Everybody rode bikes and shit. Sometimes we'd ride for 10, 15 miles to another town,
Yes.
like for the whole day,
Yeah,
bro. You know what
bro.
I mean? And we'd all have different stories and shit. Like, oh, I'm gonna tell your mom's house. You tell your mom you're at my house, and as long as they don't check, bro, we're good for the whole day or something.
Yes.
Yeah, man,
Hey,
that's what we did,
but,
man.
but what you said is interesting. Like, were you, because Gen X is known as the latchkey generation. And I literally I
Yes,
was a latchkey kid. My parents were working.
me too, bro.
You had a string around your neck with a literal key on it?
Well, no, so I would wake up in the morning and my clothes would be laid out on the floor because this was like first grade. And my mom would be at work and there would be an alarm clock that would go off. I would wake up, put the clothes on the floor, laid out, like here's your pants, here's your shirt, okay. And then I would go and scrounge up some fucking food like a raccoon. I'd find some cereal and I'd sit on the couch and another wind up alarm clock would go off, which would tell me when to walk to school. And then I would go to school. We never locked our door. I'd go to school, I would get done, and I would walk home, and then I would just scrounge around again, just trying to eat. I would eat like macaroni noodles and
Yeah,
shit that were
or a
raw.
bologna sandwich. You just fucking bologna
What is
sandwich,
that?
you know?
Yeah. And my mom would get home at like 5 o'clock. And it's just the way it was. Yeah. That's the way it was, man. You know, if I asked my parents I need a ride, they would have looked at me like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with your legs? What's wrong with your bike? What
Hey,
you need a ride? What are you talking about?"
Brandon, so tell us about like you have kids, you told us before you took your break and you came back. But so what are you seeing in Gen Z, Alpha? Because Gen X has a very positive view. He used to coach younger, Gen Z and stuff and Alpha until recently. So he shared his views. What's your
Yeah,
views on Gen Z, Alpha, Beta? What do you think?
yeah. I don't even know there was a beta, but like I know. So like everybody knows the boomers. Man, you know, somebody mistook me. They called me like I hate that meme. Sometimes if you have any kind of gray hair, like some Gen Zs will be like, okay, boomer, right? Man, that pisses me off. Like, never call me a fucking boomer. I play in this volleyball league. So I play volleyball, right? And I play in a league, and all these are like some of them are Gen Zs and some of them are millennials. A lot of them are Gen Zs and millennials in the league, and certainly the same thing on my team. Like I'm definitely the oldest guy there, right? There's a couple other Gen X's. We're rare in the league, but anyway, one of my teammates said, "Okay, boomer," and I said I said it really loud. I'm like, listen up. I said, "There's Gen X and there's the rest of you fucking pussies. So never ever call me a boomer again." That's just how I left it, man. That's
Bro,
just how we are. It's how we talk.
that's how we are. That
Yeah.
Turbine and Cisco can attest. I call you guys pussies and gay all the time.
I mean,
I think
it's
you're
just the way
brave
we grew up,
progressing there,
man.
but yep.
You
Hey,
know, whatever.
Brandon.
But so let me just real quick on my take on that. Like, okay, so like I don't know, man. Like obviously, like the boomers, they have a lot of the money, right? They have a lot of the money, and some of the Gen X's have a lot of the money now too. Some of that has, we've grown into that productive enough. We still had some semblance of a currency that had enough purchasing power, made enough decisions, got to a place in life. Maybe we got some money. So a lot of that's kind of concentrated up there. And but then there's like the millennials, and they kind of did everything they were told. They followed the rules, and they got into this thing, and it was like this eroding American dream. They're like, wait, I took out all this debt, I got the degree, I did everything I was told, and now I'm working at Starbucks, or I'm working in something that's not my degree. So there's that. And then the Gen Zs, half of them, I feel like were kind of fucked up by COVID, man. Like they were little kids, like when the whole COVID thing happened. It's like, okay, Johnny and Susie, the world is ending and we're shutting everything down and everybody might die. So like they were completely traumatized as little kids, and they had to wear masks and shit. And I think it kind of messed them up. So they're kind of that there's some weird awkwardness going on there that I feel like happened in a societal way. And there's like, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak to it. I'm not a Gen Z, but I'm just from my observation. I feel like technology has created a barrier, which has created a lot of social awkwardness too, especially in that demographic. Whereas, like Gen X is like us. We come from a time where you had to go talk to people. If you wanted to get things done, or if you wanted things, you had to go talk to somebody. You couldn't just text. You couldn't wait for a response. You couldn't curate your response. You had to go talk to him, man. You had to go talk to him. And so we're good at that. We just jump in there. We just raw dog it, man. We just get in there
That's
and start
that's why
talking to you.
I'm
You
that's
know what I
why I'm
mean?
the vibe samurai. Why do you think I'm the vibe samurai? The Gen X, it has to be a Gen Xer because we don't give a shit. We had to do this. And
We got
Brandon,
it.
it's such a
Yeah.
great point. I'm a fucking hardcore introvert and I was living in the Gen X world. Of course I had to talk. You know what I'm saying? So even as an
Yeah.
introvert,
You're forced to.
you are forced to. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
You don't have a choice. Yeah. And then the Gen Alpha, man, they give me hope, man. They give me hope. They're
Oh shit. Gen Alpha,
He has
he,
hope.
he he just shitted on Gen Z, but so I want to hear
All
about
right,
how
while Brandon fixes his mic, Gen X, and then I want to welcome Roman.
Yeah, real quick. The thing about, like, each generation has their own challenges. The I'm one of the things I mentioned about like the challenges that Z had or has are different, and it's like it's tough to compare like Boomer Gen X to Z Alpha because the world was different, their influences are different, what it was to get by day to day was different. the challenges that the younger generation has, the shit that's put in front of them that they have to filter through at a young age. We didn't have that challenge, and that's a really impactful thing, chemically, that for a young person who's still, you don't really, your hormones don't really work out until you're, depending on the age, but it's, girls, it's a little bit sooner, I think. um it's like late high school. Boys probably never. But you know I did notice that the new freshmen that we would have come in, depending on what age they were when COVID was released, um, dictated how they were affected. And you had like the class of 2020, which was full fucking lockdown, no graduation, where it's like you're driving through a parking lot in a car, was different than somebody that was in sixth grade seeing the boomers and Gen Xers, you know, uh, melt down, basically, and not know what to do in this situation, which is why I have such issues with the leadership and the messaging during that time, regardless of people's, whether they were into the vaccination stuff or not. But for me, it's actually one of the things that led me to leave, was that I was just disgusted by the fucking cowardice that I saw of people who, your job is to, some of them, a lot of them were just like, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my retirement or my pension if I don't follow these rules. And despite the fact that I'm supposed to be here in the interest of the kids, that's the profession that I've studied for. And am I really serving them now? And a lot of people, even if they didn't like what was imposed, they weren't at fighting age anymore, which is why I think that we dunk on the boomers, I think, a little bit unfairly at times, because, you know, just, I mentioned like the protests against Vietnam. Dude, that was their, like, for some of them, it was like their fighting time. And they did do some impactful shit. But it's difficult to compare that to today. So, but my point is that, the younger generation, they have different challenges. So it's really tough to kind of put them in the, make a comparison between the two, and what they had to do. But it's about, I'm bullish on the shit that they saw, that they went through, is going to make them stronger. I think Z could be stronger than Gen X in their own way, but it's all relative to the world that they grew up in those years.
Let's go to Roman. Roman, welcome to the stage. You're new. We don't know you.
Hey, thank you so much. It's a very interesting space. I'm currently dealing with a screaming toddler. So I'll
Yo,
be a minute.
we have a lot of dads here.
I'm a millennial, so my kids are probably 20 years younger than all the Gen Xers here. So I've got a 5-year-old, 2-year-old, and a month old, almost 2 months old.
So
So
so that's alpha, basically.
they're alpha, yeah. Like oldest one is a quarantennial, born right around that quarantine time, and then the other ones are younger still. So
Hey, so Roman, that's a very interesting time, age to have. So what are you thinking? Because when I talk to parents that have older kids, they're like, oh man, I don't know how to guide them. I don't know what to tell them. I'm just telling them, this is the common thing. I'm just telling them, look, just do what you love to do. Whatever it is, just go for it. We don't know what's going to happen. So just go do your shit. But the younger parents that have younger kids, they're just like, yeah, like we're good right now. We don't, they're just too young. Let's see how it all plays out, and we have some time. So, how are you feeling, Roman?
Well, I'd love to dig to it some more, but again, I got the toddler screaming, so
It's
I'll say
okay.
kind of short.
No,
I'll
don't
say
say.
short thing though.
Okay, go ahead.
Like one difference between I think it was Brandon talking about playing outside and spending all the time outside. Like I was kind of raised like that as well. Um, if your kids are so inside because there's like all this awareness about like child stuff, like it's dangerous out there, right? So you're like watching them a lot more. They're home a lot more. You're parenting a lot more. There's all that YouTube stuff, all that internet stuff going on. Like it's a very hands-on thing, and I don't know. That's challenging. There's a lot to it, but uh, I raised questions. I didn't answer them, but I'm gonna take care of the kid for a bit.
Yeah. Hey, but guys, let me.
Very interesting discussion.
Yeah. Thanks, Roman. Hey, but like, let me ask you guys this. So, like, what Roman was saying, like, it's very interesting. And Jonathan Haidt, he's the psychologist that wrote Coddling of the American Mind or something like that. And he was talking about how, if I remember like the highlights of his book, he was talking about how like the world's just much safer, just from a pure facts standpoint, data standpoint. There's less kidnappings, there's less this, there's less that. And so let's assume his data is right. I don't know if anyone else has. I tend to trust him. I've read a lot of his books. I followed him. I haven't like looked at his data, but like like his point is that the world has gotten safer and he has kids as well. And he was like, but I'm subject to this bias as well, where I'm like, oh, I want to wait until I let my kid go buy some milk at the supermarket in New York, right? Like I was doing this when I was 6 years old, right? I was on my own with a key around my neck. And I see that with my nephew and niece too. Like my brother and my sister-in-law didn't let them really go on the streets until they were like 16, like in the teenage, very late. And so there is this coddling going on, right? And I'm just wondering, like, how do parents justify that? Like, I feel like every parent, like Roman, is scared, right? Like, oh, there's pedophiles out there. Who knows what can happen? When that's not actually statistically true, according to Jonathan Haidt, right? So there is this coddling. And I remember, very interesting. So Jonathan Haidt, the guy who wrote Coddling of the American Mind, he was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and they're talking and he's explaining the book. And Joe's like, yeah, it was so interesting. Joe was like, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. When I was a kid, I think he's a Gen Xer too. And he was like, everything that we're saying as Gen Xer, we used to play outside, we didn't give a shit. And then he's basically agreeing 100% with Jonathan Haidt. And then Jonathan Haidt says, hey, I know you have like 3 daughters. Do you let them hang out in the street? They're pretty old, right? Like 12, 16, 14. And then he like literally said, no, 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 I can't. We watch them. We don't let them away. We don't let them out at all. And Jonathan Haidt was like, wait, you just agreed with him. Why are you not letting them go out? And he's like, oh no, the world is crazy. Who knows if they go somewhere and they get kidnapped? You know what I mean? Like there's like this thing. It's weird that these even Gen Xers and millennials are now like coddling their children. What do you think, Gen X or anyone else?
Yeah, real quick. So my daughter was taking this course, and this is a high school class, and it was forensics. And one of the assignments was to watch about Jeffrey Dahmer and certain things, things that had happened. We had the Night Stalker in LA when I was there at the time. But it was a shock to the world that nobody would do that. And that's when things changed, where there wasn't this, like, people in the US used to leave their doors unlocked, more so than obviously today. And something else I told my daughter was, like, when she's riding her bike, like, you have to think for other people. We're in a world now where if somebody accidentally hits you with their car, they're not going to stop necessarily. Like, the chances of them stopping are a lot less, in my opinion, and I imagine many others, because they're worried about the consequences. And there's just a different level of trust and, like, I think just human accountability. And this is something that I noticed in Norway in particular. It's a much more higher trust. Live and let live. You do what you want. don't impose things on me, but I'm not going to do things to you. You know, no place has, you know, every place has some issues, but very interesting in some countries in Europe that I've been to where it's a different high trust society. Um, but I also think that 9/11 was an eye opener for a lot of people that kind of maybe broke the model, because there's some psychological effects on a mass amount of people when you have things like that. The things that were portrayed on the media, Jihad John. You have news reporters. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Good Morning Vietnam,
Mm,
and some of the history around about the what the media was allowed to report back to the public, true or not true, to to keep the war effort support for it.
yeah, crazy.
Um, yeah, there's some interesting shit out there, man. That I just think it's there's things that have shaped and influenced young minds. Like I know a lot of the Gen Xers, like there was some creepy uncle or somebody like you found a Playboy magazine.
Yes.
You couldn't say shit on TV back then. Today, you've got young boys with access to a lot of shit that they shouldn't be seeing that is absolutely fucking with their heads, and girls too. And there's
Yeah.
effects of that. And I think this is the last thing I'll say, sorry. Some of the things that we look at, the problems today, we're not, some of us aren't, it's difficult to attribute, but these things started a while ago, and you're just seeing the manifestation of them coming up now.
Like the thing that I hear a lot is about COVID, that and the impact that's had on that generation. Because
Right.
go ahead, Turban.
Just on that note of what you're saying, Gen X, like what came to my mind of the younger guys and girls seeing shit online that they shouldn't. And I don't know if you can relate to this, Cisco, but I feel like this is pretty true amongst all Gen Z. But like, dude, I remember, and like, sorry to be gruesome here, but bro, I remember seeing like cartel beheading videos when I was like 10 online. Okay. Like, if you want to get some
Yeah.
perspective into what fucking Gen Zs were like, we were, and it's probably only gotten fucking worse. Like, I cannot imagine,
I
honestly.
would say we had access to the world like in our pocket at all times.
Dude,
Like we were traveling the world. It's through a screen,
yeah.
but see videos from Japan or Europe or Russia, like, and then cartel beheadings and then ISIS beheadings and other shit. Like there's some gruesome shit out there, but you get to see a reality.
Yeah, bro. We got that so freaking early, and I mean, I certainly know I didn't had no idea how to deal with that at the time. And now it's like, okay, I feel like I faced some maybe darker, grimmer truths of reality earlier on than maybe I would have liked. But it's like I can't fucking hate it now. And yeah, I mean, I just really feel for the younger generations because it's probably worse. There's so much psychological operations happening, and it's wild. I don't know where Bruin went, but I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah. Honestly, I do kind of want to land the plane almost midnight. But man, holy shit, best vibe sesh ever. As always, every week it's the best vibe sesh. It was a roller coaster of what AI and what it reveals about humans, and people want to talk about having soul and what you have to write. And I took it like, don't just give your voice away to the AI LLM and gets trapped into that chat interface, and if you lose it, you lose your voice. So I kind of looked at it like, put something to paper, put something in a Word document, and you can use the AI tool separately too to help, reflect on what you wrote or something like that. But I guess what they're really trying to say is the authenticity of like your bad words, and then over time you mold it. And I liked how they made writing like David Goggins with running. He was like, this is difficult, and I look over it 20 times and I rewrite. I was like, damn, they're really like fighting it but enjoying it because it's a craft, you know. So it was interesting perspective, and you know, I see both sides, but as a young person, bro, robots are gonna be taking over. I have no choice. I feel like I just gotta join the bandwagon and learn AI and just maximize it, because I guess we can always go back if the electricity turns off. And so I guess as Gen Z, I'm just gonna maximize its use. But you know, you guys are reminding me to do it responsibly and don't delegate brain thinking to the
Yeah.
machine.
Cisco, on this note, and I know we're closing, so but I'll have to shoot you a DM and or voice message about what I've done with my AI and how to build in those guardrails. Because I've loved everything Tomer's said. I've loved every Pub Lord as well. He had some super valid cautions, and it's all 100% valid. But so we just got to build our arm back to V Hoddle's longbow analogy. Train our mind, body, and spirit, and learn how to use these tools and be powerful. But yeah, I mean this was an awesome space. Loved everybody on here. Brandon, welcome, dude. You were fucking awesome to be on here. I followed you and your Signal Lord account. I'm gonna be, I'm sure we'll be seeing you again, and we can dive deeper because this is good shit.
Thank you so much, man. Right back at you.
Yeah, it was great having you.
And Roman as well. Again, welcome. Hope to see you back. And when you don't have toddlers to manage, we can dive deeper. Gen X, your wisdom is so appreciated. You and Brune, Gen X leaders. I see Sirius down there. She's in that same boat. And this we just need more conversations like this, and especially as Bitcoiners, we got to stay united in this front. So love this, man. Great space, Cisco.
Hey, Turbine, nice words, but man, I'm nobody special, dude. I think something that I encountered, and a lot of this was around COVID, 9/11, of just seeing the effect, having the contrast, was I feel like the older people either gave up or didn't know how to like pass wisdom down. There's a lot of factors, like divorce rates very different than what it used to be. Um, like what things young kids are getting influenced by, the desperation that people have to try and just get by. It's just a change, for better or worse. I don't think it's all intentional, but I don't know. But I think I've just been disappointed by like the older generations. No, I don't want to put everybody in the same bucket, but just their inability or to pass down knowledge and kind of lead and share just their experiences. Um, I'm in my 40s. Like I still feel like, dude, I kicked the shit out of like this dude who's 28 playing tennis the other day, singles. He thought he was gonna smoke me, and I didn't beat him like with accuracy of the game for you tennis players. I beat him fucking physically. On just he thought he was gonna be able to. I wasn't gonna be able to get to stuff. This is like in your head. This is a lot of the Goggins stuff that you guys talk about. Like, do not limit yourself. We are a new generation. Everyone. I think it's just that I maybe it was. I don't know if it's right, but I was raised that you are supposed to set up your kids and the next generation better than what you guys had. And I feel like that's lost. Not entirely, but either, again, maybe it's just people's inability, because they're just fucking trying to get by. But why is it that like almost half my high school girls that I coach have a single parent? Like there's a fucking problem with that. They should not be. there shouldn't be that many kids looking to me and mom's like, dude, she needs a male figure in her fucking life. That's too much. And it's different, man. So I don't know. I just try and share my little bit. And I think for the older people too, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is to stop listening to the kids because they're telling you a lot. But I don't think a lot of us are listening necessarily because we think that we know it all and we don't. And being able to admit that with anything for me is always like step one. Get over yourself.
That's perfect words, man. I think we ended there, Cisco.
Thank you, everybody. This was Vibe Sesh 36. We appreciate you speaking and listening. We do this every Thursday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Go typically till 11, but it was a wonderful conversation that went till midnight. So God bless. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.